Welcome, everyone. This is your friend, the DN What If, here with another exciting fanfiction. Today, we're diving into the story of what if Deku was reborn with the Mortal Kombat system? If you enjoy this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more fanfiction content just like this. Now, let's get started with the fanfic. Chapter 1. Chapter 1, Rebirth of the Brutal Hero. A sharp, burning pain seared through his skull, forcing him awake. His body felt unfamiliar, stronger, taller, and somehow different. As his vision adjusted to the dimly lit room, memories flooded his mind. He clutched his head as fragmented images of two lives clashed inside his mind. One was his past life, a normal person from a world without quirks, a fan of My Hero Academia and Mortal Kombat. The other belonged to the person he had now become. His name was Reiji Kurobane, a wealthy orphan, the CEO of Kurobane Enterprises, a multinational conglomerate. His parents had died in a mysterious accident, leaving him their entire fortune. He had been raised in luxury, trained in self-defense, and educated to lead a corporate empire. And yet, none of that mattered anymore. Because this world, the world of heroes and villains, wasn't just fiction anymore. It was real. Reiji exhaled, taking in his surroundings. He was in a penthouse overlooking Mizudafu, the city where UA High School was located. His place was modern, sleek, and filled with the finest things money could buy. But material wealth meant nothing now. Strength ruled this world. And strength was what he lacked. Just as he was about to get out of bed, a metallic voice echoed in his mind. System activation complete. Welcome to the Mortal Kombat system. His eyes widened. A translucent screen materialized before him, revealing lines of text. The Mortal Kombat system grants you the abilities of legendary warriors from the Mortal Kombat universe. Your first unlockable fighter is Scorpion. Abilities unlocked. Hellfire Manipulation, limited. Kunai Spear enhanced strength and speed. Reiji's lips curled into a smirk. Scorpion, huh? Before he could process further, his muscles burned with power. He clenched his fists as a surge of unholy fire coursed through his veins. His body felt different, faster, stronger, deadlier. The system wasn't just telling him he had Scorpion's abilities. It was awakening something primal inside him. He extended his hand toward a nearby candle. With a mere thought, flames flickered to life in his palm. The heat didn't burn him. Instead, it felt like a part of him, an extension of his will. A wide grin spread across his face. This is going to be fun. The streets of Mizudafu were relatively quiet at this hour, but Reiji needed to test his powers outside. He took the elevator down from his penthouse and stepped into the cool night air. As he walked through a dimly lit alleyway, the faint sounds of struggle and shouting reached his ears. He turned a corner and saw a woman cornered by two men. One had a mutation quirk that gave him elongated claws, while the other had a more standard build, likely with some physical enhancement. They weren't small-time thugs, these guys knew what they were doing. Hand over everything, lady. Don't make us ask twice. The clawed man grinned, extending his sharp talons toward her. Reiji rolled his shoulders. Perfect timing. Hey, he called out, stepping forward. His presence alone made the two men pause. Golden eyes with an eerie glow locked onto them, his expression unreadable. The clawed thug sneered. The hell do you want, punk? Reiji smirked. You're standing in my training ground. The thug lunged at him. His claws gleamed under the streetlights, aimed straight for Reiji's throat. Reiji didn't move until he did. The moment the clawed hand reached striking distance, he sidestepped with inhuman speed and grabbed the man's wrist. With a flick of his fingers, a burning kunai materialized in his free hand. Get over here. The kunai shot forward, piercing the thug's shoulder before the chain yanked him violently toward Reiji. His knee met the thug's gut, sending him crashing onto the pavement. The second thug cursed and charged at him, but Reiji exhaled a breath of hellfire, scorching the ground between them. The sheer heat forced the thug to stumble back, screaming as his clothes caught fire. Reiji stepped forward, staring down at the two groaning criminals. He could end this in a single move. One fatality. That's all it would take. But he didn't. Instead, he turned to the terrified woman. Call the police. She fumbled with her phone, nodding frantically. Reiji glared down at the two thugs, his voice laced with quiet menace. If I ever see you two again. He let a flicker of hellfire dance between his fingers. I won't stop at burning your clothes. The criminals scrambled to their feet and ran for their lives, leaving behind the scent of charred fear. Reiji watched them go, then turned back to the woman. She hesitated before nodding. Thank you. He said nothing and walked away. As he disappeared into the night, he felt something stir within him. This world was about to change. The heroes, the villains, they weren't ready for him. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 6 comment. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. A Predator Among Heroes. The distant sirens of police cars faded as Reiji walked through the quiet streets. His mind was still buzzing from the rush of battle. The Mortal Kombat system had seamlessly merged with his body, making his movements instinctive, fluid, and deadly. Every step he took felt different. Lighter. More powerful. The raw strength in his muscles, the heat of hellfire coursing through his veins, it was intoxicating. He exhaled, watching as a flicker of fire danced across his fingertips before fading into the air. Scorpion's abilities are strong, but this is just the beginning. He murmured to himself. A sudden notification appeared in his vision. Combat evaluation complete. Performance rating, B+. Analyzing battle style. Your combat tendencies lean toward brutality, efficiency, and psychological intimidation. New passive skill unlocked. Fear aura. Enemies with weak mental fortitude will instinctively hesitate before engaging in battle. Reiji chuckled. So even the system recognizes I'm terrifying? He closed the system interface and continued walking toward his penthouse. Despite the thrill of battle, he needed a plan. This world followed the BNHA storyline, but with slight variations due to his presence. He wasn't entirely sure how far the events had progressed. However, one thing was clear: UA High School was the best place to start. The entrance exam was soon, and he was going to crush it. The day of the UA entrance exam arrived quickly. Reiji stood at the front gates of UA, his golden eyes scanning the large crowd of hopeful students. He had dressed in a black combat-style outfit, simple yet practical. Unlike most of the students, who seemed excited or nervous, his expression was calm, unreadable. A few students glanced at him, sensing something off about his presence. Deku, Bakugo, Ida, and other familiar faces were scattered among the crowd. Reiji smirked. It was time to make his mark. Before he could take another step, a voice called out. "Oh, you look like you're about to kill someone." Reiji turned his head and saw Katsuki Bakugo standing a few feet away, arms crossed, wearing his usual cocky smirk. The explosive blonde's eyes gleamed with interest. "What's with that look? You planning to blow this place up or something?" Reiji chuckled. "Not my style. But if I was, you wouldn't even see it coming." Bakugo's smirk widened. "I like that confidence." He glanced at Reiji's calm posture, then scoffed. "Try not to slow me down in there." Reiji smirked back. This guy's energy was amusing. As they walked toward the exam hall, a loud voice cut through the crowd. "Excuse me." They both turned to see Tenya Ida, adjusting his glasses with precise movements. His expression was serious as he looked directly at Reiji. "I couldn't help but notice your unsettling demeanor," Ida stated. "It is important that we all uphold the values of true heroes. You seem..." He hesitated. "Rather ominous." Reiji tilted his head slightly. "Ominous, huh? That's a new one." Ida straightened his back. Regardless, I hope you take this opportunity seriously and refrain from intimidating others. Reiji merely smirked. Sure. He brushed past Ida, leaving the class representative staring in confusion. Inside the exam hall, the students were seated, waiting for the briefing to begin. Reiji leaned back in his chair, his golden eyes scanning the massive battlefield layout projected on the screen. The practical exam involved fighting robot enemies for points. Destroy robots, gain points. Simple enough. As President Mike began explaining the rules, Reiji barely paid attention. His focus was on the competition. Bakugo was fired up. Ida was hyper-focused. Deku looked nervous. Reiji wasn't concerned. None of these people mattered. The only thing that mattered was proving his power. When the countdown for the practical exam began, he stood at the starting line, feeling the energy in the air shift. 3, 2, go. The gates opened, and everyone rushed forward. Reiji, however, vanished in an instant. 1 second he was standing still. The next, he was already deep inside the battlefield. Using his enhanced Mortal Kombat reflexes, he weaved through the city ruins with inhuman speed. The first robot came into view, a massive, mechanical brute. Without hesitation he raised his hand. A flaming kunai materialized in his grip. Get over here. He hurled the spear, the chain wrapping around the robot's metal frame. With a violent yank, the machine was ripped off its balance and sent crashing toward him. Before it could react, Reiji drove his fist forward, his knuckles erupting in hellfire. The punch shattered the robot's armor, melting its circuits from the inside out. Plus 20 points. Another robot targeted him from behind. He didn't even turn around. With a mere flick of his wrist, hellfire engulfed the air, creating a violent pillar of flames that swallowed the robot whole. Plus 15 points. Within moments, Reiji was already at the top of the leaderboard. Meanwhile, from the observation room, the UA Pro heroes watched the exam unfold. Isawa narrowed his eyes. That kid, he's brutal. All Might, watching closely, frowned slightly. He's efficient, but his attacks are extreme. Midnight smirked. A bad boy type? Interesting. Nizu, however, observed with deep intrigue. His abilities don't seem like a normal quirk. He fights too precisely, too decisively. They continued watching as Reiji tore through the battlefield with terrifying ease. His fearless, calculated brutality made even Bakugo's explosive style seem tame. And yet, he was still holding back. Back in the battlefield, the 0-point robot emerged, towering over everything. Students screamed and ran as the massive machine crushed buildings beneath its weight. Deku, standing at a distance, clenched his fists. Should he act? Before he could decide, a golden blur shot past him. Reiji charged straight toward the massive robot, eyes gleaming with a predator's hunger. The Mortal Kombat system flashed a notification. New ability unlocked, flame teleportation, instantly reposition yourself in a burst of hellfire. Reiji vanished in a fiery explosion, reappearing right above the robot's head. His fist ignited, hellfire surging wildly. And with one devastating punch, he drove his flaming fist straight through the robot's skull. Boom! The entire battlefield trembled as the machine exploded from the inside out. Silence. Every student stared in shock as the massive 0-pointer collapsed, reduced to a burning husk. Reiji landed gracefully, his golden eyes scanning the wreckage. Then, without a word, he turned and walked away. He had made his statement. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moment so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 9 comment. Chapter 3, Chapter 3. The Mark of a Warrior. The scent of burning metal lingered in the air as the zero-pointer's smoldering remains lay scattered across the battlefield. The moment was frozen in time, dozens of students staring, their expressions ranging from awe to terror. Reiji barely acknowledged them. His golden eyes, still flickering with the remnants of hellfire, scanned the wreckage. The system notification lingered in his vision. Plus 0 points. Boarded. He scoffed. The figures. The zero-pointer wasn't meant to be destroyed, it was a mere obstacle. Yet, in an instant he had obliterated it, making a clear statement. He was unlike anyone else here. Ignoring the whispers around him, he turned and walked away, the molten metal beneath his feet hissing as if the battlefield itself feared his presence. From the observation room, the pro-heroes watched in silence. Isawa crossed his arms, his sharp eyes narrowing. That kid is dangerous. Midnight smirked, resting her chin on her palm. And here I thought Bakugo was the problem child. All Might, standing at the front, kept his gaze locked on Reiji. The display of power was beyond normal. The precision, the control, the absolute lack of hesitation, it was something he had only seen in seasoned warriors. He's too refined, All Might muttered. This isn't the fighting style of a high school student. Nizu, Yue's principal, leaned forward, intrigued. You're right. His techniques, they resemble something far more lethal. Aizawa sighed. If this is what he's like as a student, what's he going to become as a pro-hero? The room fell into silence again. None of them had an answer. The exam concluded, and the students were dismissed, awaiting their results. Reiji left the battlefield, ignoring the sideways glances he received. He could feel the tension around him, the uncertainty in their gazes. They didn't know whether to see him as a hero or something else entirely. He didn't care. As he walked, he noticed someone kneeling near the entrance of Yue, clenching his hands. The green-haired boy looked lost in thought, staring at the ground. Reiji stopped beside him, his voice calm. You hesitated. Deku flinched and looked up. What? Reiji didn't look at him, merely staring ahead. You saw the zero-pointer and froze. You had the power to act, but you didn't. Deku swallowed hard, his hands tightening into fists. I was going to. But you didn't, Reiji interrupted, his tone as sharp as a blade. He turned slightly, his glowing eyes piercing into Deku's soul. When it matters most, hesitation will kill you. Deku opened his mouth to respond but found himself speechless. Reiji's presence was overwhelming, not just in strength, but in the sheer weight of his words. After a moment, Reiji walked past him. If you want to be a hero, stop thinking like a civilian. Deku watched him leave, feeling something stir deep within him. A mix of fear, admiration, and doubt. Days passed, and the results of the exam arrived. Reiji sat in his penthouse, watching the UA acceptance letter in his hand. Congratulations, Kurabane Reiji. You have been accepted into UA High School. Final score, villain points, 85, rescue points, 20. He arched an eyebrow. Rescue points? The system chimed in. Your presence alone prevented injuries. Several students who would have been crushed by the zero-pointer had time to escape due to your actions. Reiji chuckled. So even when I don't try to be a hero, I get points for it. He put the letter down and stretched, feeling the weight of the moment sink in. He was going to UA. The first step in his new life. The first day at UA High arrived faster than expected. Reiji stepped through the massive front gates, his black uniform tailored perfectly, exuding an aura that made him stand out immediately. He walked through the halls, ignoring the occasional glances thrown his way, until he found himself at Class 1A's door. He pushed it open. The classroom was already lively. Bakugo was arguing with Ida, some students were chatting, and others were finding their seats. The moment Reiji entered, however, the room fell silent for a brief second. Golden eyes scanned the room, taking in each of his classmates. Bakugo noticed him and grinned. Looks like you made it, huh? Reiji smirked. Try to keep up, explosion boy. Bakugo clicked his tongue, grinning at the challenge. Meanwhile, Ida approached him again, adjusting his glasses. I sincerely hope you will uphold the standards of a true hero, Reborn. Reiji chuckled. I'll do things my way. Before Ida could respond, the door slid open again. Isawa walked in, his tired eyes scanning the class. Settle down. You're wasting my time. The entire room tensed as their homeroom teacher made his presence known. Reiji leaned back in his seat, smirking. The real game had just begun. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 3 comment. Chapter 4. Chapter 4. Breaking the Limits. The atmosphere in Class 1A was heavy with anticipation as Isawa stood at the front of the room, his deadpan expression making it clear that there would be no warm introductions. Reiji leaned back in his seat, arms crossed, his sharp golden eyes scanning their homeroom teacher. Unlike the other students, who were nervous about their first day, Reiji was calm, calculating, and ready for whatever was coming next. Aizawa's tired voice cut through the silence. We're skipping the introductions. Put on your gym uniforms and meet me outside. No one dared to question him. The training field behind UA was massive, open, and perfect for physical assessments. Reiji adjusted the sleeve of his black and red gym uniform, rolling his shoulders as he observed his classmates. Some were stretching, others looked excited, but most were uneasy, especially after hearing the words, Quirk Apprehension Test. Isawa pulled out a small device. You all took standard physical fitness tests in middle school, correct? The difference here is that you're allowed to use your quirks. The students murmured amongst themselves, but Reiji already knew where this was going. Isawa continued. Bakugo, how far could you throw a softball in middle school? Bakugo cracked his knuckles, grinning. 67 meters. Isawa handed him the ball. Use your quirk this time. Just don't leave the circle. Bakugo stepped forward, winding up his arm. This is gonna be fun. With a powerful swing, he launched the ball into the sky, propelling it forward with a loud explosion. The device beeped. 705.2 meters. The class gasped. This is amazing. Uraraka said, her eyes sparkling. Ida adjusted his glasses. So, this is the difference when we can use our quirks. Aizawa stuffed his hands in his pockets. This is what it means to be a hero. Those who can't perform will be expelled. Silence. The weight of his words crushed the excitement. Wait, expelled? Kaminari exclaimed. Aizawa's gaze remained cold. That's right. Life isn't fair. The lowest scoring student will be immediately expelled from UA. The tension skyrocketed. But as everyone panicked, Reiji smirked. Expulsion? It meant this was a real test. One by one, the students went through the tests. 50-meter dash, grip strength, long jump, side-to-side steps, endurance run. Reiji observed them carefully. Their strength, their weaknesses, their mindset. Then it was his turn. Aizawa checked his tablet. Kurabane, step up. Reiji walked forward, feeling all eyes on him. First test, 50-meter dash. His opponent was Ida, whose engine quirk made him the fastest student in the class. Ida gave a respectful nod. I will not hold back. Reiji smirked. Good. The moment the starting buzzer sounded, Reiji vanished in a burst of hellfire. By the time Ida took his second step, Reiji was already across the finish line. 2.89 seconds. Ida's jaw dropped. Impossible. That wasn't just speed, it was teleportation. Reiji flexed his fingers. His newly unlocked ability, flame teleportation, had allowed him to cover distance instantly. Aizawa narrowed his eyes. Efficient. Next test, grip strength. Reiji gripped the metal device, his muscles tensing. With a single motion, he crushed the device into scrap metal. Isawa blinked. You destroyed school property. Reiji smirked. Charge it to my company. As the tests continued, the reactions from the class shifted from shock to genuine fear. Long jump. Instead of just jumping, Reiji used hellfire propulsion, soaring over the entire sandpit. Endurance run. Never slowed down. Never showed fatigue. Moved like a hunter tracking prey. Side steps. His reaction speed was inhuman, almost like he predicted movements before they happened. Then came the final event. Softball throw. Reiji stepped into the circle, gripping the ball lightly. The students watched in silence, fully aware that whatever he was about to do would be insane. Bakugo crossed his arms. Let's see what you got. Reiji flicked his wrist. A small flame flickered to life, wrapping around the ball. Isawa watched closely, already preparing to use his erasure quirk if needed. Reiji exhaled, then hurled the ball into the sky. The moment it left his fingers, it vanished in a massive burst of hellfire. A few seconds later, infinity. The entire class froze. Did he just disintegrate the ball? Kaminari whispered. Why, I think he did. Kirishima muttered. Aizawa sighed and rubbed his temples. I hate my job. After all the scores were tallied, Aizawa announced the results. Reiji came in first place. No surprises there. Deku, however, came in last. Aizawa's crimson eyes glowed. Midoriya, pack your things. Deku's heart dropped. I failed. Silence hung in the air. But before Aizawa could say anything more, Reiji spoke up. No, he didn't. Everyone turned to look at him. Aizawa frowned. Excuse me? Reiji's golden eyes locked onto Aizawa's. You said this test is about survival, right? Not everyone in a real battle is going to be the strongest. He gestured toward Deku. That guy might be weak now, but he's got guts. You of all people should recognize potential. Aizawa narrowed his eyes, but he didn't respond immediately. Deku looked at Reiji in shock. This guy was standing up for him? A moment later, Aizawa sighed. It was a logical deception anyway. The expulsion was a lie to push you all to perform your best. The class exhaled in relief. Reiji chuckled. Figures. Aizawa turned back to the students. Classes officially start tomorrow. Be ready. As the students began to leave for the day, Bakugo walked up to Reiji. You really are something, huh? Reiji smirked. Scared. Bakugo grinned. Hell no. But I'm not letting you take the top spot that easy. Reiji chuckled. But it'd be boring if I didn't have competition. Deku, standing a few feet away, stared at Reiji's back, clenching his fists. This guy was terrifying, but he wasn't just a brute. He was something else entirely. And for the first time, Deku realized. He had to get stronger. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 6 comment. Chapter 5. Chapter 5. A Warrior's First Trial. The classroom of UA High's Class 1A was buzzing with energy. After surviving Aizawa's brutal quirk apprehension test, most students were relieved. Some were excited. Reiji? He was bored. Sitting at his desk, his golden eyes lazily scanned the room. The excitement of the entrance exam had faded. The test was a joke, just a way to filter out those who couldn't handle the pressure. But now, things needed to escalate. He wasn't here to play the role of a student. He was here to see just how far he could push himself. And judging by the way Aizawa walked into the room, he had a feeling today would be more interesting. Alright brats. Change into your hero costumes. We're heading to the battle training grounds. The room erupted with excitement. Reiji smirked. Finally, the UA training grounds, or as it was officially called, Ground Beta, was an enormous urban combat simulation area. Skyscrapers, abandoned vehicles, and shattered roads stretched as far as the eye could see. Reiji adjusted the custom black and red hero suit he had designed. It wasn't flashy, no capes, no unnecessary details. Just functionality. The others were still admiring their costumes when All Might arrived, his booming voice echoing through the battlefield. "I am here. As your instructor." The students cheered. Even Reiji had to admit, the guy's presence was something else. All Might clapped his hands together. "Today, you'll be divided into teams for battle training. The rules were simple. Teams of 2 would be heroes. Another team of 2 would be villains, defending a nuclear device. If the heroes captured the device or defeated the villains, they won." Reiji's smirk widened. A real combat test. This was more like it. The teams were announced. His name was called. Kurabane Reiji and Yayarozu Momo Villain Team. Reiji raised an eyebrow. His partner was the wealthy, strategic prodigy. Interesting. Then he heard his opponents' names. Midoriya Izuku and Uraraka Achiko Hero Team. Reiji's golden eyes narrowed slightly. Deku? This would be fun. Inside the simulated villain hideout, Reiji leaned against the wall, arms crossed, as Momo paced back and forth. She was clearly trying to form a strategy, her expression focused. "We have the advantage of terrain," she said. "Pfui." Reiji cut her off. "None of that matters." Momo stopped, blinking at him. "Excuse me?" Reiji pushed off the wall and stretched his arms. "They're coming in here expecting a normal battle. They're trained to fight heroes." His golden eyes glowed faintly. "I don't fight like a hero." Momo frowned. "You mean?" Reiji cracked his knuckles. "I fight to break them." Momo tensed. He wasn't joking. But before she could respond, a loud crash echoed through the halls. They were here. Reiji grinned. "Let's begin." Deku and Uraraka moved cautiously through the building. Uraraka whispered, "Should we go for the bomb first?" Deku shook his head. "Reiji isn't the type to let us just walk in and take it. He's different." Uraraka frowned. "What do you mean?" Deku clenched his fists. He fights like a villain." The moment the words left his mouth, a wave of hellfire exploded from the hallway. Uraraka screamed as they barely dodged the flames. From the smoke, a voice echoed like a predator toying with its prey. "Too slow, Midoriya." Before Deku could react, a burning kunai shot forward, wrapping around his wrist. Reiji yanked him forward. Deku was ripped off his feet, crashing into a wall. Uraraka gasped. "Deku!" Reiji emerged from the smoke, eyes glowing like a demon in the dark. He tilted his head, smirking. "Come on, hero. Get up." Deku groaned, struggling to his feet. He had barely seen the attack. Reiji was fast. Too fast. Uraraka charged in, activating her zero gravity. She touched a pile of debris and launched it toward him. Reiji didn't even flinch. With a flick of his wrist, the hellfire intensified, burning through the debris before it could reach him. Uraraka's eyes widened. Before she could finish, Reiji vanished. She barely had time to react before he reappeared directly behind her. A whisper in her ear. "Checkmate." She turned too late. A sharp tap on her shoulder. Reiji smirked. "You're out." She blinked. A tag. He had physically touched her, eliminating her from the match without hurting her. He was playing with them. Deku gritted his teeth. "Dimmin it." Reiji turned toward him, cracking his knuckles. "Your turn, Midoriya." Deku's heart pounded. He had seen what Reiji could do. His mind was screaming at him to retreat. But he forced himself to stand his ground. He clenched his fists. "I won't lose." Reiji grinned. "Good." In a burst of flames and lightning, they clashed. Outside, All Might and Isawa watched the battle unfold. Aizawa's eyes were sharp. That kid isn't fighting like a student. He's reading them, toying with them. All Might frowned. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Isawa's voice was cold. If he ever goes rogue, he's going to be a nightmare. They continued watching as Deku and Reiji's battle reached its climax. This was only the beginning. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge-reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 7 comment. Chapter 6. Chapter 6, A Battle of Monsters. A tense silence filled the air as Deku and Reiji stood across from each other in the dimly lit hallway. Reiji's golden eyes burned with anticipation, his smirk unwavering. Across from him, Deku clenched his fists, sweat forming on his brow. Uraraka had already been eliminated. It was now one-on-one. A normal hero would have given Deku time to prepare. Reiji was not a normal hero. Without a word, he vanished in a burst of hellfire. Deku's instinct screamed. He barely dodged as Reiji's fist tore through the air, the heat searing his cheek. Reiji was already on the move again, teleporting above him. Too slow. Deku had no time to think. He activated One for All, 5%, his body glowing with green lightning as he jumped back just as Reiji's foot slammed into the floor, shattering the tiles beneath him. Deku's breath hitched. He's relentless. Reiji didn't stop. A kunai, engulfed in flames, shot toward Deku. Deku barely managed to deflect it with his forearm, feeling the burning heat radiating from the chain. He's not just using brute strength, he's reading my movements, setting traps mid-fight. Reiji flicked his wrist, pulling on the chain. Deku saw the movement, but it was too late. The chain tightened around his wrist, yanking him forward. Reiji's fist smashed into Deku's stomach, sending him skidding across the ground. The impact knocked the wind out of him, but he forced himself to stay standing. Reiji tilted his head. Still conscious? Impressive. Deku coughed, wiping his mouth. I won't go down that easily. Reiji smirked. Good. He vanished again. Deku's heart pounded. He's everywhere. His teleportation is unpredictable. But then he noticed something. Wait, his teleportation. He always leaves a trail of hellfire behind when he moves. His eyes widened. That was it. The next time Reiji teleported, Deku focused, watching the flicker of flames left in his wake. Reiji reappeared to his left, arm already paired for another brutal strike. Deku moved first. Before Reiji could react, Deku drove his fist into his side. The impact sent Reiji flying into a nearby wall, cracking the concrete. The room shook from the force. Deku gasped for air, his entire body aching. That one punch had drained him. Reiji was laughing. Through the dust and debris, Reiji stepped forward, wiping blood from his. His golden eyes gleamed with pure exhilaration. You finally landed a hit, he said, rolling his shoulders. Took you long enough. Deku's stomach twisted. He had hit him with a full-powered attack, but Reiji looked unfazed. What is this guy? Reiji exhaled. This was fun, but it's over. Deku's body tensed. Reiji raised his hand, summoning hellfire, preparing to end it. Boom. A loud alarm blared throughout the building. Villain team wins. Deku's eyes widened. What? Then it hit him. Momo had remained at the bomb site the entire time. While Deku and Uraraka were occupied, she had simply waited out the match, ensuring that the heroes never completed their objective. Reiji glanced toward the main hall, where Momo stood composed and victorious. His smirk widened. She played the long game, he muttered. Smart. He turned back to Deku, who was still gasping for breath. Reiji extended a hand. Deku hesitated for a moment, then took it. Reiji pulled him to his feet. You fought better than I expected. Deku swallowed hard. But I still lost. Reiji's golden eyes gleamed in amusement. Then get stronger. Deku's breath hitched. Reiji wasn't mocking him. He wasn't being cruel. He was pushing him forward. For the first time, Deku realized. Reiji wasn't just an obstacle. He was the standard Deku needed to surpass. The students watched in awe as Reiji and Deku walked out of the training area. That was insane, Kaminari whispered. Kirishima nodded. That guy fights like a DMN warlord. Meanwhile, Bakugo clenched his fists, his teeth grinding in frustration. He had never seen Deku push that far. And worse, Reiji had overpowered him with ease. Bakugo's blood boiled. No way in hell am I letting him stay above me. From the observation room, All Might and Isawa watched the students exit the training grounds. Isawa exhaled. So, what do you think? All Might's eyes lingered on Reiji, watching how the other students subconsciously gave him space. He's an anomaly, All Might said. He doesn't fight like a hero, but he doesn't fight like a villain either. Isawa nodded. He's a predator. All Might's gaze hardened. If he ever decides to stop holding back, we might not be able to stop him. Later that night, Reiji sat in his penthouse, overlooking the city. His system flashed a notification. Battle performance analyzed. New passive skill unlocked. Killer instinct. When engaged in extended combat, your perception and reaction speed increase. Reiji smirked. Now we're talking. He leaned back, watching the city lights. This world wasn't ready for him. But soon they would be. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. For comment. Chapter 7. Chapter 7. A Predator Among Heroes. The aftermath of the battle trial still weighed on the class. Reiji's overwhelming display of power had left an undeniable mark on his classmates. He had fought like a villain, overwhelmed Deku, and barely taken any damage. For some, it was impressive. For others, it was terrifying. As the students sat at their desks, whispers floated around the classroom. That guy is something else. Kaminari muttered under his breath. He barely looked tired, Kirishima added, his expression serious. Like he was just playing around. Even Todoroki, who rarely showed emotion, cast a side glance at Reiji, studying him with quiet curiosity. Meanwhile, Reiji sat at his desk, leaning back with his usual calm smirk, acting as if nothing had happened. He could feel the weight of their stares, their uncertainty, their confusion. It amused him. The fear in their eyes was proof that he was above them. But one person wasn't staring in fear. Bakugo sat a few seats away, teeth clenched, fists trembling. His entire life, he had been the strongest, the most powerful, the one everyone looked up to or feared. But now, Reiji had fought Deku and barely even tried. And that infuriated him. I should have been the one to crush that DMN nerd. Not him. His blood boiled. He wouldn't let it stay like this. Isawa entered the classroom, his tired gaze sweeping over the students. Since you all survived your first battle training, we're moving on. The room went silent. Isawa tapped on his tablet. Our next exercise will be a rescue training simulation. The class perked up. Rescue training? Uraraka asked, curious. Isawa nodded. We'll be taking a trip off campus to the USJ facility, an area designed to simulate disaster scenarios where heroes must perform rescues under extreme conditions. The students murmured in excitement, but Reiji's golden eyes narrowed slightly. J. A faint memory surfaced from his past life's knowledge of beckons. That was when the League of Villains attacked. His smirk returned. Finally. Something interesting. After class, as the students packed their bags, Bakugo stood up abruptly, marching toward Reiji's desk. The room fell silent as he slammed a hand on the desk. "You?" he growled. Reiji tilted his head, amused. "Me?" Bakugo's crimson eyes burned with rage. "Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about." Reiji smirked. "Oh, I know. You're just mad that I'm stronger than you." The air grew tense. Bakugo's fists crackled with explosions. "You're just some smug BSTRD with a flashy quirk. You're nothing." Reiji's smirk didn't fade. Instead, he simply stood up slowly, his height slightly towering over Bakugo. The room felt colder despite the heat of Bakugo's explosions. Reiji leaned in slightly. "You talk too much." For the first time, Bakugo hesitated. It was only a second. A fraction of a moment. But he felt it. Something about Reiji wasn't normal. His aura was predatory, his presence like a beast staring down its prey. Bakugo gritted his teeth and turned away. "Tisich, whatever. Enjoy your little win while it lasts." Reiji watched him walk off and chuckled. "This is going to be fun." That night, Reiji didn't return to his penthouse right away. Instead, he stood at the edge of a rooftop in the heart of Mizudafu, overlooking the city below. The wind howled around him, carrying the distant sounds of traffic. And life. His golden eyes flickered in the dark as he watched the people move, civilians unaware of the chaos brewing beneath the surface. He had always known that this world had its dangers. But USJ would be his first true test against real villains. This wasn't a game anymore. A small smirk tugged at his lips. "I wonder if they're ready for me." A notification from the Mortal Kombat system appeared in his vision. Battle evaluation complete. New passive skill unlocked. Killer instinct. In real combat, reaction speed and perception increase. Reiji chuckled. "That'll come in handy." He closed the interface, his gaze locked on the city skyline. Tomorrow, they would go to USJ. And if his past knowledge was correct, the real battle was about to begin. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Size07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red Heart. Comment. 3 comment. Chapter 8. Chapter 8. Chaos Unleashed. The morning of the USJ training exercise arrived, and Class 1A gathered outside UA High, waiting for their transport. Reiji stood near the back of the group, arms crossed, golden eyes half-lidded, as he listened to his classmates chatter with excitement. "Rescue training, huh?" Kirishima grinned. "This is gonna be awesome." "Yeah. I can't wait to try out my quirk in real situations," Kaminari added. Reiji smirked slightly. They had no idea. Unlike them, he knew the truth. The League of Villains will attack today. He wasn't afraid. In fact, he was looking forward to it. The pro-heroes would try to protect the students. But Reiji had no interest in being protected. When the class arrived at USJ, they were greeted by Pro-Hero 13, a rescue specialist known for their black hole quirk. "Welcome, Class 1A. Today, we will be simulating various disaster scenarios to teach you how to handle rescue operations." As 13 spoke, Reiji's sharp gaze scanned the area. The USJ facility was massive, designed like a disaster-struck city, complete with zones for floods, landslides, fires, and collapsed buildings. But he wasn't focused on the training. His instincts told him something was already off. Isawa, standing nearby, seemed on high alert, his eyes darting around subtly. "He feels it too." Then it happened. A strange distortion appeared at the center of the USJ facility. Aizawa's eyes snapped toward it immediately. "What the hell?" Bakugo muttered. Reiji's smirk widened. The air rippled and twisted, and suddenly dark portals tore open across the training grounds. And from those portals, dozens of figures emerged. Villains. The students froze in horror as the League of Villains flooded into USJ. Leading them was a man with pale, decayed hands gripping his neck, Tamura Shigaraki. Behind him stood a monstrous, muscular beast with a brain exposed, the Nomu. And scattered across the battlefield, lesser villains grinned with predatory glee as they laid eyes on UA's top students. Well, Shigaraki drawled, tilting his head. I was expecting All Might, but I guess I'll have to play with you kids instead. For the first time, Reiji felt it. Real killing intent. This wasn't training. This was war. Isawa reacted instantly. Everyone, get back, he commanded, his capture weapon already flaring out as he rushed into battle. 13 turned to the students. Run to the exit. Before they could move, a massive portal expanded behind them. A deep, smooth voice echoed through the air. No, we can't have that. Reiji's eyes locked onto the one who spoke. A tall, mist-like figure in a suit stepped forward, his voice eerily polite. Kurojairi. Before anyone could react, his black mist surged forward, swallowing the students whole. When Reiji regained his vision, he was standing in a new location. The murky scent of stagnant water filled his nose. He turned his head slightly, analyzing his surroundings. He was in the flood zone. Around him, several other students were trying to orient themselves. Among them were Frappi, Azui, Mineta, and Deku. Teach, Reiji muttered. This wasn't ideal. His thoughts were interrupted as villains emerged from the water, their grins predatory. Look at what we have here, one of them sneered. Some UA brats. Deku tensed. We have to. Before he could finish, one of the villains lunged. Reiji didn't even blink. He vanished in a burst of hellfire. The villain barely had time to register his movement before. Reiji reappeared behind him, his fist buried deep in the man's gut. The villain's eyes bulged before he collapsed into the water, unconscious. The remaining villains froze. What the hell? Reiji straightened, rolling his shoulders. This is a waste of time. Without hesitation, he grabbed another villain by the face and slammed him into the ground, leaving a smoking crater. Deku and Frappi stared in shock. This is brutal. Reiji turned toward them, his expression unreadable. Handle the rest. I'm going to kill their leader. Deku's breath hitched. Kill? Reiji didn't answer. He was already gone. At the center of USJ, Isawa fought with everything he had. His capture scarf snapped through the air, taking down multiple villains in quick succession. His eyes glowed red, deactivating quirks left and right. But he knew this wasn't enough. The moment Shigaraki stepped forward, Isawa felt something primal in his instincts. He's dangerous. Shigaraki tilted his head. Erase quirks all you want, but it won't help against this guy. He raised a hand and the Nomu moved. Faster than anything Isawa had seen before. A blur of muscle and power crashed into him, sending him flying across the battlefield. Blood splattered across the ground. Isawa groaned, barely able to move. Shigaraki chuckled. You heroes are so weak. A new voice cut through the air. You talk too much. Shigaraki's eyes widened. From the flames, Reiji stepped forward. His golden eyes glowed like a predator's, his body radiating heat and power. He had arrived. And unlike the others, he wasn't here to run. He was here to hunt. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news. All advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 1 comment. Chapter 9. Chapter 9. Predator vs. Prey. Flames flickered in the air as Reiji stepped forward, his golden eyes locking onto Shigaraki and the Nomu. Shigaraki's decayed lips curled into a sneer. "And who the hell are you supposed to be?" Reiji didn't answer immediately. His gaze flickered to Isawa, injured and struggling to move. He got wrecked fast. His eyes moved back to the massive Nomu, its hulking body twitching with unnatural movements. He knew what this thing was. It wasn't just some random thug. It was a bioengineered monster built to kill All Might. His smirk widened. "And I want to see how I compare." Shigaraki took a slow step forward, scratching at his neck. "You look strong," he muttered. "But you're just a UA brat. I bet the Nomu can rip you apart in seconds." Reiji chuckled. "Maybe." Then he disappeared. A burst of hellfire erupted beneath his feet as he shot forward. Shigaraki's eyes widened. "Nomu!" Boom. Reiji's fist collided with the Nomu's torso, the impact shattering the ground beneath them. The shockwave sent debris flying, forcing Shigaraki to stumble back. For a moment, there was silence. The Nomu didn't move. It stood there, body slightly pushed back, but otherwise completely unharmed. Reiji narrowed his eyes. "So that's how it is." The Nomu's body twitched, then regenerated instantly. Shigaraki chuckled. "You're fast. But the Nomu has super regeneration. No matter how strong you are, it won't die." Reiji cracked his knuckles. "But I was hoping it wouldn't break too easily." The Nomu lunged. Reiji barely dodged as a massive fist tore through the air, the sheer force cracking the air around it. Definitely built to kill All Might. But he wasn't All Might. He was something else. Reiji teleported behind the Nomu in a burst of hellfire, reappearing in the air above it. A new notification flashed in his vision. "System upgrade. New ability unlocked, flaming uppercut." A smirk flickered across his lips. Perfect timing. He clenched his fist, hellfire exploding from his knuckles, and drove an uppercut into the Nomu's jaw. Boom. The monster's head snapped upward, its entire body lifted off the ground from the sheer impact. The force shattered the nearby pavement, sending a blast of heat across the battlefield. Shigaraki staggered back, stunned. "What the hell?" But once again, the Nomu didn't fall. Its head twisted back into place, completely unharmed. Reiji landed gracefully, rolling his shoulders. "It regenerates too fast. Even a full-force hit won't put it down." Shigaraki grinned. "See? It's useless. The Nomu is built to withstand even All Might's power. You're just..." Reiji tilted his head slightly. "Who said I was trying to knock it out?" Shigaraki blinked. "What?" Reiji raised a single finger. And snapped. Boom. The Nomu's entire body ignited in black hellfire. Shigaraki's expression twisted in confusion. But then he noticed. The Nomu wasn't regenerating. It was screaming. The black flames burned through its muscles, flesh, and bones, preventing the regeneration from taking effect. Shigaraki's breath hitched. "Wait." Reiji's smirk widened. "I told you. I wasn't trying to knock it out." He slowly clenched his fist. "I was cooking it from the inside." The Nomu thrashed wildly, its body collapsing to its knees as the flames ate away at its very existence. Shigaraki's eyes shook. "No, that's impossible. It's supposed to be invincible." Reiji stepped forward, eyes glowing with pure amusement. "What's wrong?" he asked mockingly. "Not so confident now?" Shigaraki gritted his teeth, hands trembling. "This kid is dangerous. Too dangerous." Kurojairi suddenly appeared beside him. "Shigaraki, we need to retreat." Shigaraki's fingers twitched violently. Then, before he could finish, a massive shockwave tore through the battlefield. Boom. A golden blur crashed into the ground, shaking the entire USJ facility. Dust and wind whipped through the air as a booming voice echoed across the battlefield. "I am here." Reiji glanced to the side, smirking. All Might had arrived. Shigaraki staggered backward. No. We weren't supposed to fight him today." Kurojairi grabbed his shoulder. "We're leaving." Shigaraki clenched his fists in rage but reluctantly allowed himself to be pulled into the mist. The League of Villains vanished. And just like that, the battle was over. As the dust settled, Reiji exhaled, rolling his shoulders. So, that's the Nomu's limit, huh? His golden eyes flickered toward All Might, who stood at the center of the battlefield, gaze locked onto Reiji. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. All Might smiled. That was impressive, young man. Reiji chuckled. Yeah. All Might nodded. You held your ground. But more than that, you fought like someone who has been in real battles before. Reiji shrugged. Maybe. Isawa, still injured, finally spoke up. All Might, we need to regroup the students. All Might nodded but kept his eyes on Reiji a moment longer. There was something about this boy. Something that even he, the number one hero, couldn't quite understand. Reiji turned, walking away. This world's strongest hero had acknowledged him. But he wasn't satisfied. Not yet. Because now, more than ever, he knew one thing for certain. He was only getting started. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge-reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 2 comment. Chapter 10. Chapter 10. The Rising Shadow. The aftermath of the USJ attack left the air thick with tension. The students of Class 1A had been shaken to their core. For the first time, they had come face to face with true villains. Killers, monsters, and chaos incarnate. And yet, one of them had stood unshaken. One of them had smiled in the face of it all. One of them had fought like a predator among prey. Reiji Kurobane. The bus ride back to UA was silent. The students sat in deep thought, the weight of their near-death experience still sinking in. Reiji, however, simply stared out the window, golden eyes reflecting the city lights. He could feel their gazes. They weren't just watching him. They were analyzing him. He smirked slightly. They're finally starting to understand. Kirishima, sitting nearby, finally spoke. Dude, you went all out back there. His voice broke the silence, making several students glance in their direction. Reiji turned his head slightly. And? Kirishima hesitated. We all fought, but you... He didn't fight like a hero. The voice came from Todoroki, his heterochromatic eyes cold and calculating. The entire bus went dead silent. Reiji's smirk didn't fade. Oh. Todoroki stared at him. You fight like someone used to killing. You burned that Nomu alive without hesitation. Reiji leaned back in his seat, arms crossed. And what would you have done? Todoroki narrowed his eyes. Heroes don't kill. Reiji chuckled. No, they just let the bad guys live so they can kill more people later. The weight of his words hung in the air. Todoroki didn't respond immediately, but the tension between them grew. Deku finally spoke, his voice quieter. That's not how a hero should think. Reiji glanced at him. Deku's fists were clenched. His eyes were filled with conflicted emotions. Reiji sighed, shaking his head. You're all so naive. Bakugo, who had been silent this whole time, finally snapped. What the hell are you all getting worked up about? The class turned toward him. Bakugo scoffed, glaring at Reiji. Yeah, he fights like a DMN psycho, but guess what? He won. He kicked that monsters, but while the rest of us were running around like idiots. His voice was laced with frustration. And beneath that frustration was resentment. Because Reiji had stolen the spotlight. Because it should have been him. Reiji smirked. See? Explosion Boy gets it. Bakugo growled. Shut the hell up. The class remained uneasy, but no one spoke further. Some were grateful Reiji had been there. Some were terrified of him. And some were starting to wonder. What kind of hero was he really? The next day, UA was in a state of lockdown. The attack on USJ had thrown the school into chaos. Security was heightened. News outlets swarmed the gates. The League of Villains had made their move, and the world took notice. Inside UA, the staff held an emergency meeting. All Might sat at the table, arms crossed, his usual bright smile nowhere to be seen. Isawa, still bandaged from his injuries, leaned back in his chair. We got lucky. If they had planned better, more students would be dead. Nizu nodded solemnly. The villains were unprepared. But next time, they won't be. The room fell into silence. Finally, All Might spoke. There's one more thing we need to discuss. He turned his gaze toward Isawa. The boy. Kurabane Reiji. Aizawa sighed. I figured this would come up. All Might's expression was serious. You saw what he did. You saw how he fought. Aizawa nodded. Yeah. And I don't like it. His strength is undeniable, Nizu admitted. But his methods... Midnight leaned forward, resting her chin on her hands. He fights like someone who's been through real war. Where did he even learn to kill like that? No one had an answer. But they all knew one thing for certain. Reiji Kurabane was dangerous. The question was which side of the line would he stand on? Meanwhile, Reiji walked through the halls of UA, feeling the shift in the air. The way students looked at him. The way teachers watched him longer than before. The attack on USJ hadn't just changed the school. It had changed how they saw him. And that was interesting. As he walked toward his locker, he suddenly felt a presence. He turned his head slightly. Todoroki stood a few feet away, arms crossed, gaze cold. Reiji smirked. Something on your mind, Ice Prince? Todoroki didn't react to the nickname. Instead, he spoke bluntly. You're hiding something. Reiji arched an eyebrow. Am I? Todoroki narrowed his eyes. I don't know what it is yet, but you're not like the rest of us. And I'll figure out why. Reiji chuckled. You're welcome to try. Todoroki held his gaze for a moment longer before walking away. Reiji exhaled, his smirk fading slightly. The eyes on him weren't just filled with fear anymore. Some of them were filled with suspicion. Todoroki was watching him. The teachers were watching him. He was becoming a wild card. And he loved it. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Because when the time came, they would see exactly what he was capable of. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 1 comment. Chapter 11. Chapter 11. The Path of Kings. The tension from the USJ attack still lingered in the air, but UA was not a school that stopped moving forward. Just a day after the attack, Aizawa stood at the front of the classroom, still bandaged but with his usual tired expression. Listen up, he said. The USJ incident was a setback, but the world isn't going to slow down for you. The students listened, still recovering from the shock of facing real villains. Reiji leaned back in his seat, arms crossed, already bored of the conversation. He knew what was coming next. The UA Sports Festival is still happening. Silence. Wait already? Kaminari exclaimed. Mina gasped. Shouldn't we delay it? We just got attacked by villains. Aizawa sighed. That's exactly why we're not delaying it. His gaze swept across the room. The world is watching us now. If we hesitate, if we show weakness, the villains will think they can intimidate UA. That's why this year's sports festival is more important than ever. A realization dawned on the students. The sports festival wasn't just a school event. It was a national event where heroes, talent scouts, and agencies watched to find the next generation of heroes. For some, It was a stepping stone to greatness. For others, it was the first and last chance to make a name for themselves. Reiji smirked. So this is where things really begin. After class, the students buzzed with energy as they discussed the festival. Man, this is our shot to prove ourselves. Kirishima grinned. Everyone's going to be watching. Yeah, we could get scouted by pro heroes, Jiro added. Bakugo stood nearby, arms crossed, his usual cocky grin in place. Doesn't matter. I'm winning. Simple as that. Reiji chuckled. Confident, aren't you? Bakugo's eyes twitched. I don't need to be confident when I'm just better than everyone else. Reiji smirked. Guess we'll see. The moment those words left his mouth, Bakugo's crimson eyes burned with fury. But before he could say anything, a new voice cut in. You two aren't the only ones aiming for the top. Todoroki stepped forward, his heterochromatic eyes locked onto Reiji. Reiji raised an eyebrow. Oh, Ice Prince wants a shot too. Todoroki's face remained cold and unreadable. I don't care about the competition, he said. But I do care about one thing. His gaze hardened. I will defeat you. The entire room went silent. Reiji's smirk widened slightly. Interesting. He tilted his head. And why is that? Todoroki didn't blink. Because I don't trust you. A flicker of amusement crossed Reiji's face. Finally, someone who wasn't afraid to say it. Todoroki's suspicion had grown. And that just made things more fun. Later that night, UA released the official announcement of the sports festival. The entire country took notice. TV stations broadcasted the news. Social media exploded with discussion. And across the city, people started talking about one name. Reiji Kurobane. Videos from USJ had leaked footage of his brutal fight against the Nomu, the flames that had burned through its regeneration, and the eerie, calculated way he had taken it down. Some called him a rising star. Others called him a dangerous anomaly. But one thing was certain. Everyone was waiting to see what he would do next. At the same time, in a dark room far from UA, a figure watched the footage. Shigaraki's hands twitched violently as he stared at the screen. That demon kid. His breathing was uneven, his fingernails scratching against his own neck in frustration. Kurojiri stood behind him. He is formidable. Shigaraki gritted his teeth. No. He's a threat. He slammed his fist against the table. I was supposed to send a message at USJ, but that bastardy turned it into his show. Kurojiri's voice was calm. So what do you propose? Shigaraki's lips twisted into a dark grin. We watch. We wait. And when the time is right. His fingers flexed. We erase him. Back at you, Reiji stood on a rooftop, staring out at the city. His golden eyes gleamed in the moonlight. He could feel it. The pressure. The expectations. The weight of every eye watching him. And yet, he smirked. This was exactly what he wanted. The UA Sports Festival would be his stage. And he was going to show the world exactly who he was. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 1 comment. Chapter 12. Chapter 12. The Arena Beckons. The days leading up to the UA Sports Festival passed in a blur. The students of Class 1A trained relentlessly, each one eager to prove themselves on the national stage. But for Reiji Kurobane, it was different. He wasn't just here to win. He was here to dominate. On the morning of the festival, the atmosphere in UA was electric. The massive UA stadium was filled to capacity, with thousands of spectators gathered to watch the best young heroes showcase their strength. News cameras zoomed in, reporters flooded the event, and in the VIP section, pro heroes, talent scouts, and top agencies sat, waiting to see which students would rise to the top. In the waiting area beneath the stadium, Class 1A and Class 1B gathered, their energy tense with anticipation. Reiji stood near the back, arms crossed, golden eyes half-lidded, completely at ease. Others were hyped up, stretching, preparing, but he just waited. He already knew what was coming, and he knew he'd handle it. Then, the stadium's loudspeakers boomed to life. "Welcome to the annual UA Sports Festival." The crowd erupted in cheers. Midnight, acting as the event's announcer, strutted onto the main stage. "Now, let's introduce the stars of the show, our first-year students." The doors slammed open, and the students of Class 1A and Class 1B stepped into the arena. The moment Reiji walked in, the crowd reacted instantly. Whispers spread. Murmurs filled the air. "Hey, that's him. That's the guy from USJ. The one who fought the Nomu? No way. He doesn't look nervous at all." Reiji smirked slightly. They should be talking." As the students lined up, Midnight continued. "This year, we have an exciting new generation of students. But before we begin, let's hear a few words from our highest-ranked student from the entrance exam, Bakugo Katsuki." The class turned toward Bakugo, who grinned arrogantly as he stepped forward. He grabbed the microphone and, without hesitation, said, "I'm gonna win." Silence. The crowd erupted in cheers and laughter. "Dimin, that guy's confident. He's got the attitude of a champion." Reiji chuckled. Of course he'd say that. Todoroki, standing nearby, simply glanced at Reiji. And Reiji noticed. "He's still focused on me. He's not here for the festival. He's here for me." He smirked slightly. That was fine. It would make it more interesting. First event. The obstacle course. Midnight grinned. "All right, students. The first round of the sports festival will be a giant obstacle course around the stadium." A massive holographic map appeared in the air. Students had to race through various obstacles, robot attacks, a canyon filled with traps, and even a minefield. Reiji's smirk widened. This was going to be fun. Midnight raised her whip. "Ready, go!" Boom. The race exploded into chaos as students sprinted forward. Todoroki immediately froze the ground beneath him, creating an ice path to glide forward. Bakugo blasted himself forward with explosions, soaring over the others. Reiji? He vanished. A burst of hellfire erupted beneath him, propelling him high into the air. The crowd gasped. "He's flying." "No, wait, he's teleporting through flames." In an instant, he reappeared far ahead of the others. His golden eyes flicked back, watching the chaos unfold behind him. Too slow. The first obstacle came into view. The giant robots from the entrance exam. They towered over the students, crushing the ground with their massive limbs. Todoroki and Bakugo immediately attacked, freezing and blowing apart the machines. But Reiji? He didn't even slow down. He vanished in a burst of hellfire, reappearing above the robots. And then, as he descended, he spun in the air, hellfire coiling around his body. New skill unlocked, blazing dropkick. With a devastating explosion, he drove his flaming boot into the largest robot's head. Boom. The machine collapsed instantly, its head crushed into the dirt. The crowd roared. The announcers were losing their minds. What kind of quirk even is that? It's not just teleportation, it's destructive teleportation. But Reiji didn't care. The next obstacle loomed ahead. The canyon jump. A massive gorge, with unstable rock pillars as the only way across. Reiji barely glanced at it. Then, with a flick of his wrist, he teleported straight across. No jumping. No climbing. Just fire and speed. As he landed, he glanced back. Todoroki and Bakugo were still behind. His smirk widened. Too easy. The final stretch of the race came into view. The minefield. Students slowed down, carefully picking their way through the explosive ground. But Reiji? He didn't hesitate. Hellfire erupted beneath his feet, propelling him directly over the minefield. The moment he landed on the other side, the buzzer rang. Reiji Kurabane had won the first event. The stadium erupted in cheers and stunned reactions. Who is this guy? He didn't even struggle. From the competitors, Bakugo skidded to a halt, his face twisted in rage. Todoroki narrowed his eyes, a rare expression of frustration flickering across his face. Reiji simply stretched his arms, smirking. One event down. 2 more to go. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 2 comment. Chapter 13. Chapter 13, The King's Burden. The crowd was electric, roaring in excitement after the first event of the UA Sports Festival. The biggest story? Reiji Kurabane's overwhelming victory. He hadn't just won. He had obliterated the competition. And now all eyes were on him. Back in the waiting area, the competitors gathered, catching their breath after the brutal obstacle race. Most of them were exhausted. Reiji? He barely looked fazed. Bakugo sat across the room, his entire body trembling not from exhaustion, but from pure rage. That BSD, he muttered, fists clenched. He had never felt this humiliated. Meanwhile, Todoroki stood off to the side, his usual calm demeanor slightly cracked. Reiji had beaten him. Easily. And that didn't sit right with him. Deku, on the other hand, watched Reiji with a mix of admiration and concern. He's too strong. But why does it feel like he doesn't care? Reiji stretched his arms, yawning. This was getting boring. That's when Midnight walked onto the stage, twirling her whip. All right, my little stars. The first event is done, but now, things get interesting. The screens above flashed with the next event. Second event, the cavalry battle. The students immediately perked up. Unlike the obstacle course, which was every person for themselves, the cavalry battle was all about teamwork. Midnight continued, grinning. Each student will form a 4-person team. The goal? Steal and hold onto headbands that represent different point values. Reiji's smirk faded slightly. Team event, huh? Midnight's grin widened. Oh, and one more thing. The student who ranked first place in the previous event gets a special headband. The screens flashed. First place headband, 10 million points. Silence. The entire room erupted into chaos. 10 million? That's insane. Whoever gets that headband is guaranteed to make it to the final round. Reiji's smirk returned. So I'm the target now. He could feel their gazes on him. Some were calculating. Some were nervous. Some, like Bakugo and Todoroki, were already looking at him like prey. Reiji chuckled. Come and try. Building the teams. Students immediately rushed to form teams, alliances being made in an instant. Reiji, however, simply stood still. He wasn't the type to beg for teammates. If anything, they should be coming to him. And sure enough, they did. The first person to approach was Momo Yaoyorozu. I'll join you, she said confidently. Reiji raised an eyebrow. You sure? Momo nodded. You're the biggest target. Which means you need strategy, not just power. Reiji smirked. Fair point. A few seconds later, another voice cut in. I'll join too. It was Froppy, Tsuyu Azui. Reiji turned to her. Oh, didn't think you'd be interested. Tsuyu shrugged. Ribbit, you're strong. And I like winning. Reiji grinned. Smart girl. Now they had 3 members. They needed one more. That's when a quiet voice spoke up. I'll join too. Reiji turned and blinked. It was Tokoyami. The dark, bird-headed student stood calm and composed. Reiji smirked. Dark Shadow, huh? Why me? Tokoyami's expression didn't change. Because I want to see how strong you really are. Reiji grinned. This is perfect. With Momo's strategy, Tsuyu's agility, and Tokoyami's dark shadow for defense. This was a team built to win. The battle begins. Alright, students. Get ready. Midnight's voice echoed through the stadium. The teams took their positions, headbands secure. Reiji's 10 million point headband practically glowed like a beacon. Every other student in the stadium was staring at him. They all wanted it. And he knew it. Midnight raised her whip. Ready. Go. Boom. The moment the battle began, chaos erupted. Teams immediately rushed toward Reiji's group, their eyes locked on the 10 million point prize. But Reiji? He was already moving. Tsuyu jump. Without hesitation, Tsuyu used her powerful legs to leap high into the air, carrying their entire team upward. The other teams missed completely, crashing into each other instead. Reiji grinned. Too slow. From the announcer booth, Present Mike shouted excitedly. Whoa! Reiji's team is already in the air. They're avoiding the attacks before they even start. Isawa, watching from the pro hero seats, sighed. Of course he'd come up with a way to avoid direct combat. All Might, sitting nearby, watched carefully. This will be interesting. Back in the arena, Reiji's golden eyes flicked downward, scanning the battlefield. His main threats? Bakugo's team and Todoroki's team. Bakugo, as expected, was blasting his way toward them, screaming like a madman. Give me that demon headband. Todoroki, on the other hand, was calm and calculating, freezing the ground to control enemy movement. Two different types of threats. Reiji smirked. This was fun. All right, he said to his team. Let's play. Tsuyu kept them highly mobile, leaping from place to place. Momo created flash grenades, throwing them down to blind the enemies. Tokoyami's dark shadow lashed out, blocking incoming attacks. And Reiji? He was waiting. Baiting. Bakugo exploded forward, launching himself directly at Reiji. This was it. Reiji vanished in a burst of hellfire. The moment Bakugo reached him, he was already gone. Bakugo's eyes widened. What? Reiji reappeared behind him and tagged his headband instead. Swipe. Bakugo froze. The crowd gasped. Wait a minute. Reiji just stole Bakugo's headband. Reiji twirled the stolen headband in his fingers, grinning. Bakugo trembled with fury. Why, you son of a... But before he could react, the buzzer rang. Time's up. The cavalry battle ended. Reiji held onto his 10 million headband and had even stolen extra points. Once again, he was in first place. The stadium erupted in cheers. Todoroki stood still, his fists clenched. Bakugo? Bakugo was about to explode. Reiji smirked, spinning the headband on his finger. 2 events down. Only 1 remained. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 1 comment. Chapter 14. Chapter 14. The Road to Glory. The crowd was still roaring after the cavalry battle ended, but in the waiting area, Class 1A and 1B were dead silent. Reiji stood with his arms crossed, casually leaning against the wall, his golden eyes watching the reactions around him. Bakugo was seething, his teeth clenched so hard they might shatter. Todoroki stood stiffly, his fingers twitching ever so slightly, frustration clearly visible beneath his cold exterior. And Deku was staring at Reiji, his expression a mix of confusion and determination. How does he keep winning so easily? Reiji simply smirked. They're all getting worked up. Perfect. Because now, they all had something to prove against him. And that made things much more interesting. The tournament bracket. The stadium screens flashed, displaying the final event. UA Sports Festival Final Round, 1v1 Tournament. The students tensed. This was the real battle. Midnight's voice echoed through the stadium. The remaining 16 students will now compete in a single elimination tournament. This is where true strength will be tested. Everyone turned toward the giant bracket appearing on the screen. Reiji's golden eyes scanned it immediately. The matchups were Reiji Kiribane vs Kirishima Ijiro Todoroki Shoto vs Shoji Mizobakugo Katsuki vs Kaminari Denki Midoriya Izuku vs Shizuki Ibrida Tenya vs Hatsum Mato Koyami Fumikage vs Yaoyorozu Momo Ajui Tsuyu vs Tetsutetsu Tetsutetsusuro Hanta vs Shinso Hitoshi. Reiji grinned. Good matchups. Kirishima was tough, but too predictable. Todoroki and Bakugo were on the opposite side of the bracket, meaning if they wanted to fight him, they had to make it to the final. That's perfect, because he wanted them to watch as he destroyed everyone before them. The reactions. Kirishima pumped his fist. Hell yeah, I get to fight Reiji first. Reiji raised an eyebrow. You sound excited. Kirishima grinned. Of course I am. You're the guy everyone's scared of. That means if I can go up against you and hold my ground, that proves I belong here. Reiji chuckled. He liked this guy. But that didn't mean he was holding back. Todoroki glanced at the bracket, his gaze lingering on Reiji's name. If I want to fight him, I have to win every match. His fists tightened. I will. Bakugo stared at the screen, his breathing heavy. He wasn't even looking at his first opponent. All he saw was Reiji's name on the other side. If that BS-30 makes it to the final, he's mine. His fingernails dug into his palms, sparks flickering. I'll destroy him. Deku gulped, staring at the bracket nervously. He hadn't even thought about his own match yet, because his mind was stuck on one thing. If I keep winning, I'll have to fight Reiji. His stomach twisted. He wasn't sure if he was ready for that. Announcing the first match. Midnight waved her whip, grinning. All right, students. First up. Reiji Kiribane vs Kirishima Ijiro. The stadium exploded with cheers. Reiji exhaled, stretching his neck. Well, guess it's time. Kirishima grinned at him. Let's put on a good show, dude. Reiji chuckled. Oh, don't worry. He turned toward the exit, his golden eyes gleaming. I plan to make this quick. The first battle begins. As the two walked into the colossal fighting arena, the ground shook from the sheer energy of the spectators. Every eye was on them. Kirishima clenched his fists, his entire body hardening into red steel. Reiji? He simply rolled his shoulders, completely at ease. Midnight raised her hand. Begin. Boom. Kirishima rushed forward instantly, his hardened fists ready to strike. Reiji didn't move. He simply smirked, as Kirishima's fist came barreling toward his face. Reiji vanished. A burst of hellfire erupted in his place. Kirishima's eyes widened in shock. Where? A searing heat appeared behind him. Reiji reappeared instantly, his golden eyes flashing. Too slow. Before Kirishima could react, Reiji's foot slammed into his back. Boom. The impact sent Kirishima flying across the arena, crashing into the ground. The crowd gasped. Kirishima rolled to his feet, shaking off the attack. Dimin. That speed is insane. Reiji smirked. If that's all you got, this'll be over in seconds. Kirishima grinned. Guess I'll just have to take more hits, then. He charged again, this time bracing for a counter. Reiji sighed. Fine. Then he attacked first. Boom. A blast of hellfire exploded from Reiji's fists as he teleported forward, launching a brutal barrage of strikes. Each punch hit like an explosion. Kirishima blocked some, but the heat was insane. He's burning me through my own hardening. Reiji's final hit connected directly with Kirishima's gut. Kirishima staggered backward, gasping. His hardened armor flickered, cracks forming. He's too fast, too strong. Reiji tilted his head. Still want to keep going? Kirishima gritted his teeth. Diamen right I do. Reiji grinned. Then let's end this properly. His body flared with hellfire, heat waves rippling through the air. Kirishima charged in for one final attack. Reiji exhaled. He vanished again. This time, Kirishima saw it. He's behind me. He spun but too late. Reiji's flaming fist slammed into his chest. Boom. Kirishima's entire body lifted off the ground before he was blasted out of the ring. The buzzer rang. Winner, Reiji Kurobane. The stadium erupted in cheers and gasps. Reiji rolled his shoulders, stepping away from the battlefield. One down. As he passed Kirishima, the red-haired boy grinned weakly. You're a monster. Reiji chuckled. You're not bad either. Then he turned toward the next match. Because now, he was waiting for Todoroki and Bakugo to make it to him. And when they did, he was going to break them. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge-reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. One comment. Chapter 15. Chapter 15. The Ice Prince Awakens. The crowd was still buzzing from Reiji's complete domination in the first match. His victory over Kirishima had set the tone for the tournament. This was his battlefield. But now, it was time for the next match. Todoroki Shoto vs Shoji Mizo. Todoroki stepped into the arena, his heterochromatic eyes cold and calculating. Shoji followed, his multiple arms flexing, ready for battle. The crowd cheered, eager to see what UA's most versatile combatant could do against the son of Endeavor. Reiji watched from the sidelines, leaning against the railing. Let's see how strong you really are, Ice Prince. Midnight raised her hand. Begin. The battle begins. Shoji immediately dashed forward, using his speed and multiple limbs to close the gap. Todoroki didn't even move. Boom. A massive wave of ice exploded from his foot, freezing the ground instantly. Shoji's eyes widened. Too fast. Before he could escape, his entire lower body was frozen solid. The crowd gasped. It's already over. Present Mike shouted. Todoroki simply stood there, expression unreadable. I don't need to use my full strength to win this. Shoji struggled against the ice, but it was too thick. He couldn't move. Midnight sighed, shaking her head. Shoji Mizo is unable to continue. Winner, Todoroki Shoto. The crowd erupted in cheers, but Todoroki simply turned and walked away. As he passed Reiji, he briefly glanced at him. Reiji smirked. That all you got? Todoroki didn't respond, but his fingers tightened slightly. The tournament continues. The next matches played out one by one. Bakugo vs Kaminari. Bakugo wrecked him immediately, dodging Kaminari's electricity and knocking him out cold. Deku vs Shiozaki. Deku struggled but won by outmaneuvering her vines. Ida vs Hatsum. Ida won, but Hatsum used him as a product advertisement. Tokoyami vs Momo. Tokoyami defeated Momo quickly with Dark Shadow overwhelming her. Tsuyu vs Tetsu. A close fight, but Tsuyu won by trapping him in a grappling move. Siro vs Shinso. Shinso won using his brainwashing quirk. The final 8 were set. Quarter-final matchups. Reiji vs Tokoyami. Todoroki vs Ida. Bakugo vs Tsudeku vs Shinso. Reiji grinned. Things were heating up. After the first round. Back in the waiting room, Todoroki suddenly stepped in front of Reiji. The room went silent. Reiji raised an eyebrow. Something you want to say, Ice Prince? Todoroki's fists clenched. I know what you are now, he said, his voice quiet but firm. Reiji chuckled. Oh, do tell. Todoroki's heterochromatic eyes burned with emotion. You're a monster. But unlike my father, you enjoy being one. Reiji's smirk widened. He leaned in slightly, his golden eyes gleaming. "You're right." Todoroki's breath hitched. Reiji's voice dropped to a whisper. "The difference between us, Todoroki, is that I don't pretend to be something I'm not." Todoroki's fingers twitched. He's not even denying it. Reiji tilted his head. "So? What are you gonna do about it?" Todoroki's jaw tightened. "I'm going to defeat you." Reiji grinned. "Then hurry up and get to the finals." He turned, walking away. "Otherwise, you'll just be another stepping stone." Todoroki watched him go, his entire body tensed. "I won't let you win." He looked down at his left side, his fire side. And for the first time, he considered using it. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. A comment. Chapter 16. Chapter 16. Shadow vs. Flame. The roar of the crowd filled the massive stadium as the quarter-final matches began. And the first fight? Reiji Kurobane vs. Tokoyami Fumikichi. Reiji stepped into the arena, his hands casually tucked into his pockets. His golden eyes gleamed with excitement. Across from him, Tokoyami stood still, arms crossed, his shadow shifting restlessly beneath him. The entire stadium was watching. This wasn't just a match. This was a war between light and darkness. The announcer's reactions. Present Mick's voice boomed through the speakers. "Alright folks, this is it, the quarterfinals. And we're starting off with a freaking heavyweight match." Isawa, sitting in the commentary booth, sighed. "This match will be determined by how well Tokoyami can manage his dark shadow." All Might, watching from the VIP section, nodded seriously. Reiji's flames are a direct counter to Tokoyami's quirk. But Tokoyami isn't weak. If he plays it right, he can turn the tides. The screen zoomed in on the 2 combatants. The arena was silent. Midnight raised her hand. "Begin." The first clash. Boom. Tokoyami struck first. Dark shadow attack. The massive shadow beast erupted forward, its dark claws slashing toward Reiji at blinding speed. Reiji? He didn't move. He simply lifted a single finger. Boom. A wave of hellfire burst outward, engulfing the entire battlefield in its eerie, golden glow. Dark shadow screeched in pain, recoiling instantly from the flames. The crowd gasped. "It's super effective." Present Mike shouted. Reiji tilted his head. "You should have started with something else." Tokoyami gritted his teeth. "So you knew?" Reiji grinned. "Of course I did." He took a step forward. And vanished. Boom. A burst of hellfire exploded behind Tokoyami. His instincts screamed move. But before he could react, Reiji's fist buried itself into his gut. Crack. Tokoyami staggered backward, coughing. His vision blurred. "He's fast, too fast." Reiji kept walking forward, flames flickering at his fingertips. "Your dark shadow is powerful, but it's fragile." Tokoyami wiped his mouth. "You talk too much." He clenched his fists. "Then let's make this a battle of control." His eyes flashed. Dark shadow berserk mode. The stadium rumbled. Dark shadow swelled in size, its body twisting into a monstrous, uncontrollable form. The sky above them darkened. Reiji's grin widened. "Now we're talking." The monster awakens. Dark shadow roared, its eyes glowing red. The moment it attacked, the entire battlefield shook. The speed was unreal. Dark shadow's claws ripped through the air, cutting through the ground like paper. Reiji barely dodged, flames blazing beneath his feet as he teleported backward. The crowd screamed. "Dark shadow is out of control. Can Reiji even handle that?" Reiji laughed. You finally stopped holding back. Good. His golden eyes gleamed. Now I won't hold back either. Fum. The hellfire around him expanded, the temperature skyrocketing. For the first time, Tokoyami's expression changed. This heat. It's suffocating. Reiji took a step forward, then vanished. Dark shadow lunged. But this time, Reiji was already behind Tokoyami. You lose. Before Tokoyami could react. Boom. A flaming uppercut slammed into his jaw. The force lifted him off his feet, his body twisting in the air. Dark shadow shrieked, then instantly retracted, its energy completely exhausted. Tokoyami crashed onto the ground. The buzzer rang. Midnight raised her hand. Winner, Reiji Kurabane. The stadium erupted. After the fight, Reiji stood over Tokoyami, watching as he struggled to sit up. Tokoyami wiped his mouth, exhaling. It's over. Reiji smirked. Not bad. Tokoyami looked up. You knew you had the advantage the whole time, but you still let me fight at my best. Reiji tilted his head. Of course. His golden eyes burned. There's no fun in crushing weaklings. He turned and walked away. Get stronger. Then come back and try again. Tokoyami watched him go, his fists tightening. I will. The quarterfinals continue. With Reiji advancing, the next matches quickly followed. Todoroki vs. Ida. Todoroki froze Ida's engines and ended the match instantly. Bakugo vs. Tsuyu. Bakugo brutally overpowered Tsuyu with explosions. Deku vs. Shinso. Deku broke out of Shinsu's brainwashing quirk using one for all. Now, the semifinals were set. Semifinal matchups. Reiji vs. Todoroki. Bakugo vs. Deku. Reiji grinned. Finally. The match he'd been waiting for. As he walked back to the waiting room, Todoroki stood at the entrance, waiting for him. His cold gaze burned with intensity. This time, Todoroki said quietly, I'll use everything. Reiji smirked. Good. Because if Todoroki didn't give his all, he'd break him completely. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 2 comment. Chapter 17. Chapter 17, Fire vs. Fire. The stadium shook with excitement as the announcers called out the next match. Next match, Reiji Kurabane vs. Todoroki Shoto. The crowd roared, anticipation at its peak. This wasn't just any fight. This was the battle between the 2 strongest flames in the tournament. On one side, Todoroki Shoto, the prodigy of UA, son of the number 2 hero, Endeavor. His ice had already dominated every match, but for the first time, he was going to use his fire. On the other side, Reiji Kurabane, the unpredictable wild card, the student whose brutal fights and hellfire quirk had shaken the entire festival. And now, they were about to collide. The fighters enter the arena. Reiji stepped forward, golden eyes gleaming with amusement. Across from him, Todoroki stood still, but his entire body radiated intensity. No words were exchanged. None were needed. Midnight stepped up, cracking her whip. Begin. Ice versus flames. Boom. The moment the match started, Todoroki unleashed a massive glacier of ice, freezing the entire arena in an instant. The ground beneath Reiji turned into an Arctic wasteland. But he didn't flinch. He smirked. Predictable. Fum. His hellfire exploded, melting the ice instantly. The ground hissed and cracked, steam rising into the air as the arena turned into a battlefield of ice and fire. Todoroki's eyes narrowed. He melted it that fast? Reiji grinned. Come on, Ice Prince. That all you got? Todoroki's fists tightened. Not this time. Fire erupted from his left side. The entire stadium gasped. Todoroki just used his fire? Present Mike shouted. From the VIP section, Endeavor leaned forward, eyes burning. That's it? Shoto. Todoroki exhaled, steam rising from his body. I told you, he said coldly. I'm going to defeat you. He attacked. Flames collide. Boom. Todoroki's flames surged forward, clashing against Reiji's hellfire in a violent explosion of heat. The entire arena rumbled, the very air warping from the intensity. Reiji grinned wildly. Finally. He's fighting for real. They clashed in the center of the battlefield, their flames roaring as they exchanged blows. Todoroki launched a fire-enhanced punch. Reiji blocked it with his own burning fist. The impact sent shockwaves through the ground. He's strong. Todoroki kicked forward, his foot coated in fire. Reiji dodged, vanishing in a burst of hellfire. He reappeared behind Todoroki. But Todoroki was ready. Before Reiji could strike, a wall of ice exploded upward, cutting off his attack. Reiji's golden eyes widened slightly. He's adapting fast. Todoroki spun, flames coiling around his arms, and threw another massive blast of fire. Reiji grinned and punched straight through it. Boom. The flames parted around his fist, his body completely unburned. Todoroki's eyes widened in shock. He walked through my fire. Reiji smirked. Your flames are strong. His golden eyes gleamed. But my hellfire is absolute. The turning point. Todoroki gritted his teeth. Then I'll just burn hotter. He took a deep breath, then, thump. His flames exploded outward, surging with a heat that shook the entire stadium. For the first time, Reiji felt it. The heat of true fire. He exhaled, rolling his shoulders. Not bad. His golden eyes flashed. But let me show you the difference between us. He took a step forward. The world ignited. The hellfire awakens. The moment Reiji moved, his entire body erupted in black gold hellfire. The temperature skyrocketed, the stadium turning into an inferno. Todoroki barely had time to react before. Boom. Reiji vanished. He reappeared right in front of Todoroki, his fist already moving. Todoroki's instincts screamed dodge. But too late. A hellfire-infused uppercut slammed into Todoroki's stomach, sending him flying into the air. The crowd gasped. But Reiji wasn't done. He vanished again, reappearing above Todoroki midair. His legs swung downward, coated in searing flames. Blazing dropkick. Boom. Todoroki crashed into the ground with earth-shattering force. Silence. The flames died down. The dust settled. And at the center of the impact crater, Todoroki was unconscious. The buzzer rang. Winner, Reiji Kurobane. The stadium erupted. The aftermath. Reiji exhaled, rolling his neck. That was fun. He glanced down at Todoroki, who was still unconscious. Then, without a word, he turned and walked away. From the VIP section, Endeavor gritted his teeth. Even Shoto's full power wasn't enough. All Might, sitting nearby, narrowed his eyes. Reiji is growing stronger with every match. Bakugo, watching from the waiting area, was shaking with rage. That should have been me fighting him. His hands crackled with explosions. I'll destroy him. The final match is set. The last semi-final fight happened next. Bakugo versus Deku, a brutal fight, but Bakugo won, knocking Deku out cold. Now, the final match was set. UA Sports Festival Final, Reiji Kurobane versus Bakugo Katsuki. Reiji grinned. He could already feel Bakugo's rage. This was going to be fun. He cracked his knuckles. One more fight. Then he would prove once and for all that this stage belonged to him. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 power stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 1 comment. Chapter 18. Chapter 18. The King vs. the Madman. The UA Sports Festival final was about to begin. The entire stadium was shaking with anticipation. The announcers could barely contain their excitement. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the final match. The 2 strongest competitors had fought their way to the top. On one side, Reiji Kurabane, the terrifying wild card, the one who had dominated every fight without breaking a sweat. On the other, Bakugo Katsuki, the furious powerhouse, burning with rage and ambition. This wasn't just a fight. This was a declaration of who was the strongest. The fighters enter the arena. Reiji stepped onto the battlefield, golden eyes gleaming. His smirk was calm, confident, unshaken. Across from him, Bakugo stormed onto the field, his teeth clenched, explosions already flickering in his palms. His eyes burned with fury. Finally I get to crush you. Reiji noticed his trembling hands. Not from fear. From pure, uncontrollable rage. Reiji chuckled. You look ready to explode. Bakugo's body twitched. Shut the hell up. Reiji grinned. Make me. The final battle begins. Midnight raised her hand, voice dripping with excitement. Begin. Boom. Bakugo attacked instantly, blasting himself forward at insane speed. His explosive fist tore through the air, aimed straight for Reiji's skull. But Reiji vanished. A burst of hellfire erupted, leaving only empty space where he had been. Bakugo's fist slammed into the ground, causing a massive explosion. Where the hell did you go? A voice behind him. Right here. Bakugo's eyes widened. Before he could react, Reiji's flaming knee smashed into his ribs, sending him flying across the battlefield. Bakugo skidded to a stop, coughing. His body ached. His rage burned hotter. Udimen BSTRD. Boom. He launched himself forward again, but this time, Reiji met him head-on. The 2 collided in the center of the battlefield, fists and explosions tearing through the air. Each strike sent shockwaves through the stadium. Each clash ignited the ground beneath them. Neither backed down. Neither slowed. It was pure carnage. The fight was becoming brutal. Bakugo's relentless explosions forced Reiji to stay on the move, teleporting between bursts of hellfire. But Bakugo was adapting. Every time Reiji teleported, Bakugo was already moving to counter. Their movements were becoming a dangerous dance of speed, power, and fury. Then Bakugo saw his chance. Howitzer impact. He spun violently, his explosions creating a tornado of fire and destruction. Reiji narrowed his eyes. That's a good move. The spiraling explosion engulfed the battlefield, tearing apart the ground in its wake. The crowd screamed. That's it. Bakugo's going all in. But then, a pillar of hellfire erupted from the center of the storm. The tornado of explosions was consumed instantly. And when the fire cleared, Reiji stood there, untouched. His golden eyes burned like a demon's. Bakugo's breath hitched. Reiji tilted his head. That was your strongest move? Bakugo froze. Reiji vanished. Bakugo's instinct screamed. Behind me. But he was too slow. Boom. A hellfire-coated punch slammed into his back, sending him flying. His body hit the ground, bouncing twice. He tried to move. But then, a shadow loomed over him. Reiji stood above him, golden eyes cold. This is over. Bakugo gritted his teeth. I can't lose. I can't. His vision blurred. His body refused to move. And then, the buzzer rang. Winner, Reiji Kurabane. The crowd erupted in chaos. Present Mike was shouting in disbelief. He did it. Reiji wins. He wins the sports festival. Reiji exhaled, rolling his shoulders. That was fun. He glanced down at Bakugo, who was still shaking, fists clenched against the dirt. You lost. Bakugo's body trembled. He wanted to scream, to fight more. But he couldn't move. Reiji smirked. Get stronger. Then, without another word, he walked away. Not long after, the remaining students gathered on the podium for the closing ceremony. Reiji stood in the center, gold medal around his neck. To his right, Bakugo, seething with rage, still trembling from his defeat. To his left, Todoroki, arms crossed, deep in thought. All Might stepped forward, his usual bright grin in place. Congratulations, young heroes. The crowd erupted again. But as All Might handed Reiji the trophy, their gazes met. For a split second, Reiji saw it. The brief flicker of concern in All Might's eyes. As if he was trying to figure him out. Reiji grinned. You're not sure what to make of me, huh? He took the trophy without hesitation. All Might smiled wider. You've shown incredible strength, young Kurobane. But remember, true heroes are not just strong, but just. Reiji chuckled. Of course, number one. But in his golden eyes, there was no agreement. Only amusement. Far away, in a dark hideout, a screen played the footage of Reiji's fights. Shigaraki leaned forward, watching intently. This guy is interesting. Kurojairi nodded. He's powerful. And unlike the others, he doesn't hesitate. Shigaraki's lips curled into a dangerous grin. I want him. Kurojairi tilted his head. To eliminate? Shigaraki chuckled. No. To recruit. That night, Reiji stood alone, looking out over Mizudafu's city skyline. His golden eyes flickered, thoughts swirling in his mind. This was just the beginning. He could feel it. The heroes were watching him. The villains were curious about him. And the world? It didn't know what to do with him. Reiji exhaled, smirking. Good. Let them wonder. Because soon enough, they would all know exactly who he was. End of chapter 18. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge-reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 1 comment. Chapter 19. Chapter 19. The aftermath begins. The UA Sports Festival had ended, but its impact was only just beginning. Reiji had conquered the battlefield, proving himself as the undisputed champion. But in the wake of his victory, questions remained. The day after the festival, UA was buzzing with energy. Students talked excitedly in the hallways, rewatching the matches on their phones. Did you see that final fight? Kurobane was insane. Yeah. But did you hear? Even the pro heroes are kinda wary of him. Man, if he's this strong now, imagine him as a pro hero. Reiji, walking through the halls, ignored the whispers. They're finally paying attention. But not all eyes were filled with admiration. Some were filled with unease. And some, with suspicion. When Reiji entered Class 1A's homeroom, all conversation stopped. The air was different. Deku's eyes flickered toward him, his mind racing. He's so much stronger than me. But what kind of hero does he want to be? Bakugo sat at his desk, fists clenched. Damn it. I lost. But I'll get stronger. Next time, I'll destroy you. Todoroki, arms crossed, glanced at Reiji briefly. He had used his fire in the tournament. And yet, even that wasn't enough. Meanwhile, Kirishima grinned. Dude. You really showed everyone up. Reiji smirked. Was there ever any doubt? Before anyone else could speak, Isawa walked in. The room immediately fell silent. Aizawa sighed, rubbing his tired eyes. The sports festival is over, but now the real work begins. The class straightened up. Because of your performances, you've all received offers from pro heroes for internships. He held up a tablet, displaying a list of names. The more offers you received, the more attention you got. Bakugo, Todoroki Midoriya, you all got multiple offers. Isawa's eyes flickered toward Reiji. And of course, Kurabane had the most. Reiji's golden eyes gleamed. The screen flashed with over 20 different pro-hero agencies. Pro heroes had taken notice. But even more interesting, some of the biggest names in the industry were on the list. Endeavor, Best Jeanist, Pux, and interesting, even the government wants a piece of me? He leaned back, amused. I guess I was popular. The class stared at him. Deku couldn't believe it. He got more offers than Todoroki and Bakugo combined. Bakugo's fists tightened. Tisich, Diamen Bestiardi. Todoroki's expression didn't change. But internally, even my father wants to recruit him. Reiji glanced at the list again, smirking. Let's see what happens if I choose Endeavor's agency. He wasn't planning to listen to the number 2 hero. But he was curious. What kind of reaction would he get? Meanwhile, in a private meeting room, the UA staff gathered. At the center of the conversation, Reiji Kurabane. Nizu folded his hands together. His strength is undeniable. But we must ask ourselves, how do we guide someone like him? Isawa leaned back in his chair. He's a demon monster in combat. But his mentality? That's what worries me. Midnight nodded. I agree. He fights without hesitation. Without restraint. All might remain silent. But internally, he was thinking. Reiji reminds me of someone. Someone who didn't follow the ideals of a hero. Someone who created their own path. Could he become a hero? Or will he walk another road? The staff didn't have an answer. But they knew one thing. Reiji was different. And whether that was a good thing or a dangerous thing, only time would tell. Elsewhere, in a dark hideout, the League of Villains gathered. Shigaraki sat in front of a large screen, watching Reiji's fight over and over again. His fingers twitched. This guy. I want him. Kurojairi raised an eyebrow. To eliminate? Shigaraki grinned. No. To recruit. The League fell silent. Dabi, leaning against the wall, chuckled. Think he'd even listen? Shigaraki's grin widened. I don't need him to listen. I just need him to see the truth. That heroes were just as broken as villains. That night, Reiji stood on the rooftop of his penthouse, staring at the city skyline. His golden eyes flickered, thoughts swirling in his mind. The world was watching him now. Pro heroes wanted to recruit him. Villains wanted to test him. And UA? They weren't sure what to do with him. Reiji smirked. Let them wonder. Because soon enough, they would all know exactly who he was. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 1 comment. Chapter 20. Chapter 20. The internship begins. Class 1A, choosing internships. The day after the UA Sports Festival, Class 1A gathered in their homeroom, still feeling the weight of what had just happened. Some students were excited. Some were nervous. And a few were still recovering from their losses. But none of that mattered now. Because today, they were choosing their hero internships. Isawa stood at the front, his usual tired expression in place. The sports festival gave you all exposure, he said, scrolling through his tablet. And because of that, some of you received internship offers from pro heroes. The screen lit up, displaying the list of students who received the most offers. At the very top, Reiji Kurabane. The number of offers next to his name was ridiculous. The class stared in shock. Whoa, he got way more than anyone else. Kaminari said. Did you see what he did in the tournament? Jairu added. Deku swallowed hard. Reiji's strength had left an impact on everyone. Bakugo, sitting with his arms crossed, just gritted his teeth. Of course that BSTRD got the most offers. Todoroki, however, didn't react much. Instead, his eyes flickered toward the name right below Reiji's. Because Endeavor had offered both of them an internship. And something about that bothered him. Reiji casually scrolled through his options. Endeavor, Puck's, Best Genist, Kamui Woods, and even some government-backed hero agencies. But one name stood out the most. Endeavor, the number 2 hero, huh? In the sports festival, he saw Todoroki hesitate to use his flames. Maybe working under Endeavor would tell him why. Maybe it would tell him more about what it means to be a true hero. After a moment, he tapped his choice. Selected agency, Endeavor's hero agency. The screen flashed, confirming his decision. Todoroki, standing nearby, glanced at him. You chose Endeavor? Reiji smirked. You have a problem with that? Todoroki was silent for a moment. Then, in a low voice, he said, Just don't trust him. Reiji's golden eyes flickered. Interesting. Before he could say anything, Isawa cleared his throat. Alright, everyone. You'll report to your selected agencies tomorrow. Class dismissed. With that, the students began filing out, discussing their choices. Reiji simply grinned to himself. Let's see what Endeavor has to offer. The next day, Reiji arrived at Endeavor's hero agency. The building was massive, reflecting its status as one of the top-ranked hero agencies in Japan. Inside, pro heroes and sidekicks moved efficiently, responding to emergencies, training, and handling paperwork. But Reiji wasn't interested in any of that. He wanted to see one person. And soon enough he did. Standing at the end of the hall was Endeavor himself. The number 2 hero. The man who burned hotter than anyone. His powerful frame loomed over Reiji as he glared down at him. You're the kid who won the sports festival. Reiji grinned. Glad you were watching. Endeavor didn't look impressed. You think you're strong? He asked. You're just another student. You haven't proven anything yet. Reiji chuckled. He liked this guy. I guess that's what I'm here for, huh? Endeavor's eyes narrowed. Don't waste my time. Then without warning he attacked. Testing Reiji's strength. Boom. A wave of fire exploded toward Reiji, so hot that the walls shook from the pressure. Reiji's golden eyes gleamed. So that's how it is. Boom. He countered with his own hellfire, clashing against Endeavor's flames in an eruption of heat. The entire room flashed orange and gold. The pro heroes nearby stopped in their tracks, watching in shock. He's going against Endeavor's flames directly. The firestorm ended as quickly as it began. Smoke rose from the ground, and in the middle of it all, Reiji stood there, completely unharmed. His smirk never faded. Not bad, he said. I can see why you're number 2. Endeavor's eyes flickered slightly. He didn't speak for a moment. Then he crossed his arms. You'll start your training tomorrow. Don't fall behind. Reiji chuckled. Oh, don't worry. I never do. Endeavor turned and walked away. Reiji's grin widened. This internship might be more fun than I thought. End of Chapter 20. Chapter 21. Chapter 21. The real training begins. Reiji stood before Endeavor's hero agency, the towering structure radiating an aura of dominance, much like its owner. After selecting this internship, he had expected harsh training, but more than that, he wanted to see what the number 2 hero could offer him. Inside, sidekicks and pro heroes moved with purpose, each carrying out their respective tasks efficiently. Reiji walked through the halls, paying no attention to the murmurs surrounding him. He already knew he was a subject of interest. After the sports festival, his name had become one of the most talked about in UA. His golden eyes locked onto Endeavor, who stood near the training hall, arms crossed, watching him approach. You're here, Endeavor stated, his deep voice carrying over the sound of crackling flames from nearby training rooms. Reiji smirked. Obviously. Endeavor didn't waste time with pleasantries. This internship isn't about showing off or proving anything. It's about refinement. His sharp eyes narrowed. Your flames are strong, but strength alone means nothing if you can't wield it properly. Reiji shrugged. I haven't had much trouble so far. Endeavor's fists ignited. That's because your opponents were children. Reiji's smirk didn't fade, but his muscles tensed slightly. He could already tell this training wasn't going to be easy. The first day of training was brutal. Endeavor didn't start with techniques or strategies. He started with endurance. Reiji was thrown into a heat-resistant chamber, where the temperature steadily increased as he was forced to maintain his flames. The goal was simple: burn without burning out. Control the temperature, Endeavor instructed from outside the chamber. If your body collapses from your own flames, you'll never be able to outlast an enemy in a real battle. Reiji clenched his jaw, sweat forming on his brow as he maintained his hellfire, trying to resist the urge to simply let it rage out of control. Minutes passed. Then an hour. His vision blurred, but he refused to collapse. Hellfire is mine to command, not the other way around. Finally, after nearly 2 hours, Endeavor deactivated the chamber. Reiji stumbled out, his body burning with exhaustion. Endeavor observed him for a moment before nodding. Not bad. Reiji chuckled, wiping sweat from his brow. That sounded dangerously close to a compliment. Endeavor ignored the remark. Tomorrow, we start combat training. Reiji's smirk widened. That was what he had been waiting for. The second day of training brought something different. Instead of more endurance drills, Endeavor led Reiji to an open training field behind the agency. Attack me, Endeavor ordered. Reiji didn't hesitate. A burst of hellfire erupted from his feet, propelling him forward at high speed. His fist ignited, aiming straight for Endeavor's chest. But before the strike could connect, boom! A massive surge of flames engulfed the area, stopping Reiji's advance mid-charge. Endeavor stood firm, his fire overpowering Reiji's instantly. Reiji gritted his teeth, skidding backward. So this is the difference between us. Endeavor's flames weren't just stronger. They were more controlled, more refined. There was no wasted movement, no excess energy. Your technique is lacking, Endeavor said, his voice as sharp as his flames. You're fast, but your attacks are reckless. Your fire bends to your will, but you don't know how to use it efficiently. Reiji exhaled, letting his flames settle. Then teach me. Endeavor's eyes narrowed. He took a step forward. Then let's begin. Training under Endeavor was unlike anything Reiji had experienced. The exercises weren't about power, they were about discipline, control, and efficiency. 4 hours, Reiji was forced to condense his flames, shaping them into precise, sharp attacks rather than overwhelming bursts of raw power. At one point, Endeavor demonstrated by forming a concentrated lance of fire, launching it forward like a sniper shot, piercing through multiple reinforced barriers. This is control, Endeavor stated. Reiji, watching closely, analyzed the movement. He had to change his approach. Less brute force, more precision. He raised his hand, focusing his hellfire into a narrow point. But it wavered, flickering too much. Endeavor observed. You're trying to force it. Let it shape itself naturally. Reiji exhaled, adjusting his breathing. A moment later, his flames sharpened. The sidekicks watching from the sidelines exchanged glances. He's adapting fast, one of them muttered. Yeah, but let's see if he can keep it up. As the week progressed, Reiji's hellfire techniques evolved. Instead of wild bursts, his attacks became more calculated, more deliberate. By the 4th day, he had successfully learned how to form hellfire blades, shaping his flames into lethal, refined edges. By the 6th day, he had begun experimenting with hellfire chains, similar to Scorpion's kunai spear but modified for his own style. Endeavor noticed the changes. You learn quickly, he admitted. Reiji smirked. I aim to impress. Endeavor crossed his arms. Don't get cocky. But Reiji could see it. The number 2 hero acknowledged him. And that, in itself, was progress. At the end of the week, after a full day of training, Reiji stood on a rooftop overlooking the city. He clenched his flaming fists, feeling the difference in his control. The system notification appeared in his mind. System update, new skill unlocked. Skill, Blazing Chain, inspired by Scorpion's Kunai Spear. Description, summon a chain engulfed in hellfire to pull enemies toward you. Reiji exhaled slowly, a faint grin forming. That was more like it. But this was only the beginning. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 1 comment. Chapter 22. Chapter 22. The Fire That Burns Too Hot. Reiji stood in the middle of Endeavor's training facility, his breath steady as he focused on the flickering hellfire dancing around his fingertips. His control had improved over the past week, but it still wasn't perfect. Precision. Efficiency. No wasted movement. That was what Endeavor drilled into him day after day. But now, it was time to test how much he had truly learned. Endeavor stood at the far side of the training hall, his arms crossed, eyes piercing through Reiji like fire itself. You've made progress, he admitted. But progress means nothing without application. Reiji cracked his neck. Then let's stop talking and get to the part where I prove it. Endeavor's eyes narrowed slightly at his arrogance, but he didn't reprimand him. Instead, he simply gestured to the side. The massive reinforced doors slid open, revealing the next phase of training. It wasn't a sparring match this time. It was a battle simulation. The trial, real combat simulation. The room ahead was a city replica, complete with artificial buildings and alleyways. But this wasn't just an environment for movement. Because waiting inside were 10 high-level training droids, each one capable of fighting at pro-hero level. These droids are designed to simulate real villain combat, Endeavor explained. If you truly want to be a hero, you'll need to prove you can handle them. Reiji grinned. 10 versus 1? Sounds like a warm-up. Endeavor didn't respond. He simply pressed a button. The droids activated. Their metallic eyes glowed red, locking onto Reiji. Their bodies were built for speed and durability, with reinforced armor and high-powered weaponry designed to mimic real quirk-based attacks. Then, in an instant, they attacked. The first droid lunged forward, its arm transforming into a massive steel blade as it slashed toward Reiji's chest. Reiji vanished in a burst of hellfire, reappearing behind it. Boom! His foot ignited as he spun, landing a flaming roundhouse kick that sent the droid crashing into a nearby building. But he had no time to celebrate. 2 more droids rushed him from both sides, one launching a high-voltage shockwave, the other firing compressed air bullets. Reiji gritted his teeth, raising his hands. Hellfire surged outward, forming a barrier of searing flames that absorbed the electricity and melted the air bullets before they could reach him. But the droids didn't stop. 2 more came from above, dropping down at high speed, aiming to pin him. Reiji didn't dodge this time. Instead, he smirked. A chain of black-gold hellfire erupted from his hand, wrapping around one droid's leg. Blazing chain. With a single violent pull, he yanked the droid downward, using its weight to smash into the second one midair. Boom. The impact shattered the concrete beneath them. For down, he muttered. 6 to go. Endeavor watched from the control room, arms crossed. He's using his flames more effectively now, a sidekick commented. He's not just throwing fire around, he's thinking. Endeavor nodded slightly, but his eyes remained locked on Reiji. His hellfire, it's growing stronger. But something was off. The way Reiji moved, the speed at which he was adapting, it was almost unnatural. Is it purely talent? Or is there something else? For now, Endeavor kept his thoughts to himself. Back in the simulation, the final 6 droids had regrouped, switching tactics. They're getting smarter. Reiji exhaled slowly, letting his flames coil around his arms. They all attacked at once. One droid fired a stream of water at high pressure, while another sent out a freezing mist, trying to counter his flames. At the same time, 2 others came in with bladed weapons, attempting to corner him in close combat. Reiji smirked. Too predictable. Instead of retreating, he advanced. He twisted his body, dodging the freezing mist, then threw a hellfire-coated punch straight into the water blast. Boom. The sudden temperature clash created a massive burst of steam, blocking visibility for a split second. And that was all he needed. He vanished. One of the droids tried to track him through the smoke. But then, get over here. A blazing chain shot out from the mist, wrapping around the droid's neck. Reiji yanked hard, dragging the droid straight into his flaming fist. The impact shattered its core, shutting it down instantly. The remaining droids tried to recalibrate, but by then, it was already over. Reiji moved like a predator among prey. His hellfire warped between precision strikes and devastating blows, overwhelming them one by one. And in less than a minute, the battlefield fell silent. The droids lay in smoldering wrecks, flames flickering from their broken bodies. Reiji exhaled slowly, rolling his shoulders. Done. The control room was silent. Then one of the sidekicks let out a low whistle. He actually wiped them all out? Another sidekick shook his head. That's not normal for a student. Even Endeavor remained quiet for a moment before finally speaking. Training's over for today. His gaze remained on Reiji, his expression unreadable. But inside, a thought lingered. He's not just strong. He's something else entirely. And that realization left a burning question in Endeavor's mind. What kind of hero will he become? That night, Reiji stood on the rooftop of his apartment, staring out over the city. The wind was cool against his skin, but his body still radiated heat from the intense training. He clenched his fists, letting small embers of hellfire flicker in his palms. It's getting stronger. The system notification appeared in his mind. System update, new skill unlocked. Skill, Infernal Overdrive, temporary power boost. Description, a short-term power surge that amplifies hellfire abilities but burns stamina quickly. Reiji smirked. Because soon enough, he was going to need it. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge-reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 0 comment. Chapter 23. Chapter 23. The Hero Killer Stirs. The week of training under Endeavor had been nothing short of brutal. Reiji had pushed himself harder than ever, refining his hellfire into something sharper, deadlier, more controlled. But he knew this was just the beginning, because outside the walls of Endeavor's agency, something dangerous was lurking in the shadows. And its name was Stain. Reiji walked through the busy streets of Hosu City, the scent of burning fuel and city life filling the air. The internship patrol schedule had finally reached a phase where he would be actively engaging with real crime situations, and he welcomed the change. The simulation battles were fun, but fighting real villains? That was what he had been waiting for. Endeavor walked a few steps ahead, his towering frame cutting through the crowd like a flame in the darkness. They weren't alone. Todoroki had joined the patrol as well, though he mostly remained silent. The tension between them had grown colder over the past few days. Todoroki had never openly confronted Reiji about choosing to intern with Endeavor, but his icy stares spoke volumes. Reiji, of course, found it amusing. If you've got something to say, just say it, Ice Prince. But Todoroki never did. So Reiji didn't push it. They had only been patrolling for an hour when the first incident occurred. A nearby bank exploded as a group of masked villains stormed out, carrying stolen cash and knocking down civilians in their escape. 3 of them, Endeavor noted, already stepping forward. Todoroki, take the left. Kurabane, cover the right. Reiji grinned. Finally, some action. The villains barely had time to react before the heat in the air shifted. What the? Boom. A massive wave of ice shot forward, freezing the ground beneath their feet. Todoroki moved in, his expression unreadable as he cut off their escape route. But before they could turn in the opposite direction, Reiji appeared in a burst of hellfire. Going somewhere? He asked, cracking his knuckles. The villains hesitated, looking between the 2 UA students and Endeavor, who was already preparing to incinerate any resistance. Then one of them panicked and fired a compressed air blast straight at Reiji. A mistake. Reiji tilted his head. You should have run faster. He vanished. Before the villain could react, a flaming fist buried itself into his gut, sending him crashing into the pavement. The second villain turned to escape, but Todoroki froze his legs instantly. Endeavor didn't even bother moving. The third villain dropped his weapon immediately. We surrender. We surrender. The fight was over in seconds. Reiji sighed. That was disappointing. Endeavor simply crossed his arms. It's not about fun. It's about efficiency. Reiji shrugged. Doesn't mean I can't enjoy it. Todoroki said nothing, simply stepping over the frozen criminals as the police arrived. But as they secured the scene, a sudden explosion in the distance shook the city. All 3 of them turned. Smoke was rising from the alleyways deeper in the district. And alongside the smoke came the sound of screaming. Endeavor's eyes narrowed. Something's wrong. Then, before anyone could say another word, a bloodied pro-hero stumbled into the street, collapsing in front of them. Todoroki's eyes widened. What? The hero gasped out weakly. It's him, the hero killer. Stain. The moment Reiji heard the name, something in his instincts sharpened. A villain who only targeted heroes, someone whose ideology was so twisted that even other criminals feared him. This might be fun. Without hesitation, he turned and sprinted toward the explosion site. Wait, Kurabane. Todoroki called, but Reiji ignored him. Endeavor grunted. Let him go. If he's stupid enough to run into a fight unprepared, he'll learn the hard way. But Todoroki wasn't convinced. He wasn't worried that Reiji would lose. He was worried about what Reiji would do if he won. The alleyways of Hosu City were dark, drenched in shadow despite the fires that raged nearby. And in the center of it all was him. The hero killer stood over a fallen pro-hero, his bloodied sword reflecting the streetlights. His mask barely concealed the madness in his eyes. You're a disgrace, Stain muttered, flicking blood off his blade. You call yourself a hero, but you only care about status. The wounded hero gasped for breath, barely able to move. A voice cut through the alley. Not bad. But you talk too much. Stain's head snapped toward the new arrival. Reiji stepped forward, hands in his pockets, eyes gleaming with amusement. The sight of the hero killer in person didn't intimidate him. If anything, he looked interested. I've read about you, Reiji said. The hero killer, who only lets real heroes live. Gotta say, you're making a mess. Stain narrowed his eyes. And you are. Reiji's smirk widened. Someone who wants to see if you live up to your reputation. Then, without warning, he attacked. Reiji's hellfire erupted as he shot forward, closing the gap in an instant. His fist ignited, swinging toward Stain's torso. But Stain moved like a shadow. Clang. His sword met Reiji's flames, barely deflecting the blow. The impact sent sparks flying as both fighters skidded backward, locking eyes. Stain wiped a small burn mark on his arm, his eyes narrowing. You fight like a villain. Reiji chuckled. That's the second time I've heard that. He flexed his fingers. Let's see if you can keep up. Fum. His hellfire roared to life, illuminating the alleyway in golden flames. Stain gripped his sword tightly, his stance lowering. Two killers, facing each other in the dark. This wasn't a hero fight. This was a battle between monsters. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 0 comment. Chapter 24. Chapter 24. Flames versus Blades. The alley was suffocatingly silent, broken only by the flickering flames dancing around Reiji's fists. The golden glow of his hellfire illuminated the cracked pavement, casting shadows against the towering buildings. Opposite him, Stain stood motionless, his blood-streaked katana gripped loosely in his hand. His eyes, sharp and filled with fanatic conviction, locked onto Reiji with predatory focus. The tension hung heavy in the air. They moved. Reiji vanished in a burst of hellfire, closing the distance between them in an instant. His fist ignited, aiming straight for Stain's ribs. But, clang. Stain's katana met his flames mid-swing, deflecting the attack in a flash of steel. Sparks scattered as the two locked in a vicious exchange, blade against flame, speed against brutality. Stain moved with razor-sharp precision, dodging and countering Reiji's attacks by the slimmest margins. His reflexes were unnatural, honed by years of real combat against heroes. But Reiji wasn't just fast. He was relentless. Boom. A surge of hellfire exploded outward, forcing Stain to leap back. Reiji didn't let up. He teleported midair, reappearing above Stain in an instant. Gotcha! His foot swung downward, coated in golden flames. Boom! The impact shattered the pavement, but Stain had already dodged, rolling away just in time. Reiji landed lightly, cracking his neck. Not bad. You're quick. Stain wiped a faint burn on his forearm. His eyes glowed with something unreadable. You're not like the others. Reiji's smirk widened. Obviously. Stain exhaled slowly. You fight with intent to kill. Reiji didn't deny it. Because it was true. Unlike the others who hesitated, who fought with the mindset of stopping their enemy, Reiji fought to end his opponent. And Stain could tell. That was why this fight was different. Stain moved first this time. A blur of motion, his katana cut through the air, slicing toward Reiji's throat. Reiji ducked, dodging by mere inches. But, clang. A second hidden dagger appeared in Stain's other hand, slashing toward Reiji's ribs. Reiji twisted his body, but the blade grazed his side. A thin streak of blood splattered onto the pavement. For the first time in this fight, Reiji had been cut. But instead of frowning, he laughed. Stain's eyes narrowed. Why are you laughing? Reiji touched the wound, feeling the warm blood between his fingers. His golden eyes burned. It's been a while since someone actually landed a hit on me. The temperature skyrocketed. Reiji's flames roared violently, the golden embers turning almost white-hot. Let's see how long you can keep up. Reiji exhaled. His control over his flames had improved. But now, he was going to push even further. He took a step forward, then vanished completely. Stain's eyes widened. Where? Before he could react, a blazing chain wrapped around his wrist. Blazing chain. Reiji yanked hard, dragging Stain toward him. The hero killer flipped midair, barely managing to break free before landing on the side of a building. His katana scraped against the brick, slowing his descent. But the moment he landed, Reiji was already in front of him. A flaming fist crashed into his gut. Boom. Stain's body was sent flying, smashing into a dumpster. Reiji didn't stop. Boom. Hellfire surged toward the wreckage, engulfing the area in golden flames. But then, a blade shot out from the fire. Reiji tilted his head, narrowly dodging the thrown dagger. Stain emerged, smoke trailing from his scorched cloak. But his stance was still steady. Reiji's smirk faltered slightly. He's still standing? Stain wiped blood from his lip. His eyes glowed with something more dangerous than before. Conviction. You are powerful, he admitted. But you lack purpose. Reiji frowned. What? Stain's grip on his sword tightened. A true hero fights for something greater than themselves. Reiji laughed dryly. You think I care about being a hero? Stain's gaze sharpened. No. That's why you're dangerous. Reiji's smirk returned. You say that like it's a bad thing. Stain didn't answer. He simply raised his blade again and charged forward. The fight escalated. Reiji's flames burned hotter. Stain's movements became deadlier. The alley was filled with fire, steel, and raw killing intent. Each clash of blade and flame sent shockwaves through the streets, the battle tearing through the district. And then, Todoroki arrived. His eyes widened at the scene before him. Reiji is enjoying this? This wasn't just a fight for survival. This was a fight between two monsters who understood each other. Todoroki stepped forward, activating his ice. That's enough. Reiji and Stain both turned toward him. And for a moment, neither of them moved. Then, slowly, Reiji's flames began to fade. His smirk lingered, but his eyes were unreadable. Stain, meanwhile, exhaled deeply, his blade lowering slightly. The fight was over. For now. Todoroki called in for backup, and soon Endeavor and the police arrived. Stain was wounded, weakened. But his glare remained unshaken. You're strong, he said, looking at Reiji. But strength without conviction is meaningless. Reiji said nothing. He just watched as the hero killer was restrained. Endeavor glanced at the wreckage around them, his gaze landing on Reiji's scorched fists. He didn't say a word. But Reiji knew. You're wondering about me too, huh? As Stain was taken away, Reiji turned back to the burning cityscape. His golden eyes flickered in the firelight. This fight had been fun. And that thought was something even he wasn't sure how to feel about. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 0 comment. Chapter 25. Chapter 25. The Flames That Never Fade. The scent of burning asphalt and blood still lingered in the air. The battle had ended, and the hero killer Stain had been captured. But the effects of that fight, they were far from over. Returning to the agency, Reiji walked back into Endeavor's hero agency, his uniform still torn and scorched from the fight with Stain. His side still ached where the villain's blade had grazed him, but the pain was nothing more than a dull annoyance now. Todoroki walked beside him, his usual cold expression even more unreadable than usual. Neither of them spoke during the walk back. The silence between them wasn't awkward, it was heavy. Finally, as they entered the building, Endeavor's voice boomed through the hall. You were reckless. Reiji stopped, golden eyes flickering toward the towering figure of the number 2 hero, standing at the far end of the hall. Endeavor's gaze wasn't angry. It wasn't concerned either. It was analyzing. You went after the hero killer without waiting for support. Reiji smirked. And? Endeavor's flames flared slightly. And you let yourself get injured. That is what separates an amateur from a professional. A hero cannot afford to take unnecessary damage. Reiji exhaled. I still won. Todoroki, standing to the side, finally spoke. That's not the point. Reiji's eyes slid toward him. Todoroki's expression was unreadable, but his voice was firm. The way you fought, he hesitated for a second before continuing, it wasn't just about stopping him. You were enjoying it. The words hung in the air. For a second, Reiji said nothing. Then he laughed. So? Todoroki's fists clenched. A hero shouldn't. Reiji stepped closer, golden eyes gleaming. A hero shouldn't what? Todoroki stiffened. Reiji's smirk faded slightly. Let me guess. A hero shouldn't enjoy fighting? A hero shouldn't love the thrill of battle? A hero should just fight for the sake of others and never feel anything themselves. Todoroki didn't answer. Reiji scoffed. That's cute. Then his grin returned, but this time it wasn't playful. It was sharp. A hero who hesitates dies. A hero who fights without a reason loses. I fight because I enjoy it. And that's why I win. Todoroki's jaw tightened. That kind of mindset, it's dangerous. Reiji's gaze didn't waver. So what? Are you scared? Todoroki narrowed his eyes. I don't know yet. For the first time since they met, Reiji could see it. Todoroki wasn't just angry. He was wary. And that made Reiji smirk even more. Endeavor's evaluation. The conversation was interrupted as Endeavor turned away. Kurabane. Reiji looked at him. Yeah. Endeavor didn't turn back. Your internship is over. Reiji blinked. That fast. Endeavor's flames crackled. You have nothing more to gain here. Your control over your fire has improved, but you are not ready to be a hero. Reiji tilted his head. That's so. Endeavor finally looked over his shoulder. A warrior with no discipline is nothing more than a villain in disguise. The words were heavy, carrying more weight than just a simple statement. But Reiji? He just grinned. If I were a villain, I'd be better than half the heroes out there. Endeavor's eyes narrowed. But he said nothing else. He simply walked away. The final night in Hosu. That night, Reiji sat on the rooftop of his apartment, staring at the city lights below. His mind replayed the battle with Stain. The way his flames had burned hotter, sharper. The way he had felt alive in the middle of combat. The way Todoroki and Endeavor looked at him afterward. He exhaled slowly. Does it matter? A part of him wondered. But he shook his head. Thinking too much wasn't his style. As he stretched his fingers, a familiar system notification appeared. System update, new skill unlocked. Skill, Ashen Recovery. Description, your body passively absorbs ambient heat, accelerating natural healing. Reiji smirked. A healing ability, huh? Guess the system wants me to last longer in fights. He closed his eyes, letting the warm city air surround him. Whatever came next, he was ready. The departure from the internship. The next morning, Reiji arrived at the UA train station, ready to return to school. Todoroki stood a few feet away, waiting for his own train. For a moment, neither spoke. Then, as the train doors opened, Todoroki finally turned toward him. Kurabane. Reiji raised an eyebrow. Todoroki's eyes were calm, but his voice was firm. If you ever go too far, I'll stop you. Reiji's smirk widened. He stepped onto the train, golden eyes gleaming. I'd like to see you try. The doors closed. And with that, the internship was over. But the real story was just beginning. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. For comment. Chapter 26. Chapter 26. Back to UA. The train ride back to UA was uneventful, but Reiji could feel the shift in the air. The moment he stepped off the platform, the way people looked at him had changed. Before the internship, he was already notorious after his dominance in the sports festival. But now he was something more. People whispered his name as he walked past. That's him. The guy who fought the hero killer. He actually survived against Stain? Reiji smirked. Word spreads fast. He didn't mind it. If anything, it was amusing. But the real test was yet to come. Because now he had to face Class 1A. Reiji's return to Class 1A. The moment he stepped into the classroom, all eyes locked onto him. The air was thick with tension. Deku, sitting near the front, looked uneasy, as if he wanted to say something but wasn't sure how. Bakugo's red eyes burned with irritation, as if he was said that Reiji had stolen the spotlight again. Momo, Kirishima, Jairu, and Kaminari all seemed curious, waiting to hear what had actually happened. But it was Todoroki's gaze that lingered the longest. He hadn't spoken a word since they arrived back, but Reiji could feel it. The doubt, the hesitation, the unspoken question. Are you really going to be a hero? Reiji grinned. That's none of his business. He walked toward his seat like nothing had changed, like he hadn't fought one of the most feared villains in the country, and walked away with a smile. But then Ida stood up. His usual calm demeanor was gone. His hands trembled slightly, his fists clenched as he stared directly at Reiji. His voice was quiet but filled with tension. Reiji raised an eyebrow. Yeah. Ida's breathing was heavy, as if he was trying to control himself. You fought Stain. He muttered. Reiji tilted his head. Yeah. And? Ida's fist shook. Did you enjoy it? The classroom fell into dead silence. Everyone was waiting for Reiji's answer. He smirked. What do you think? Ida's body tensed. Reiji leaned forward slightly, golden eyes gleaming. You wanted revenge, didn't you? He continued. You wanted to kill him. You wanted to be the one to do it, but you failed. And now, you're asking me if I enjoyed fighting the guy who nearly killed your brother. Ida's jaw locked. Reiji's smirk widened. You should have fought harder. The entire class froze. Deku's breath hitched. Todoroki's eyes narrowed. Even Bakugo, who usually didn't care about anything, glanced at Reiji with a scowl. But before Ida could respond, Isawa entered the room. Enough, he said in his usual bored tone. I don't care what kind of personal issues you have. We're moving on. Reiji simply chuckled and leaned back in his chair. Isawa sure knows how to kill the mood. Ida sat down, his hands still shaking. But Reiji didn't care. Because one thing was clear now. They were all starting to doubt him. And he loved it. Aizawa's observation. Class resumed as usual, but Isawa wasn't stupid. He had watched the fight recordings. He had seen how Reiji moved. How he enjoyed the battle. And that concerned him. After class ended, he called Reiji aside. You're growing too fast, Isawa said. And that's not necessarily a good thing. Reiji smirked. You sound worried. Aizawa's gaze was unreadable. I am. That actually surprised Reiji a little. Not that Isawa was concerned, but that he admitted it. Aizawa sighed. Your fire is too refined for a student. Your combat instincts are too sharp. And you don't hesitate. His eyes narrowed. You're dangerous. Reiji chuckled. That's not a bad thing. Isawa leaned in slightly. It is if you stop caring about what it means to be a hero. Reiji's smirk faded for just a second. Then he grinned again. I don't need a lecture, teach. Isawa studied him for a moment before shaking his head. We'll see. He turned away, but his warning lingered. Because Isawa knew something that Reiji didn't. The way he fought. The way he enjoyed it. That path led to only two outcomes. A hero who was feared. Or a villain who was unstoppable. And right now, Isawa wasn't sure which one Reiji was becoming. A growing reputation. As Reiji walked through the hallways of UA, he could feel the stares. His reputation had shifted. Before, he was respected. Now, he was feared. Even among his own classmates. And beyond that, there were whispers spreading outside of UA as well. Because news about his battle with Stain had reached more than just heroes. Somewhere in the darkness, the League of Villains was watching. And they were very, very interested. End of chapter. Fire Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right patreon.com size07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 0 comment. Chapter 27. Chapter 27. A new threat emerges. The weight of the internship's aftermath still lingered as Reiji walked through UA's halls. The whispers about him hadn't faded, in fact, they had only grown louder. Even among his own classmates, there was hesitation. Some of them avoided looking at him. Others, like Bakugo, didn't care, but the tension between him and Todoroki was clear as day. And Ida? He hadn't said a word since their confrontation. Reiji didn't mind. Let them talk. Because while they were busy questioning his actions, he was focused on what came next. Aizawa's warning. Isawa called him aside after class. "Walk with me," his homeroom teacher said, leading him out of the room. Reiji followed casually, hands in his pockets. They walked down the quiet hallways, the sounds of students fading behind them. Then Aizawa finally spoke. "You've made enemies," he said bluntly. Reiji smirked. "Not the first time. Won't be the last." Aizawa's gaze remained unreadable. "You don't seem to understand what that means." Reiji raised an eyebrow. "Oh, enlighten me then." Aizawa stopped walking. "The Hero Commission is watching you now." That caught Reiji off guard for a split second. But he recovered quickly. "So? They watch everyone, don't they?" Aizawa's tone was flat. "Not like this." He turned to face him fully. "The way you fight. The way you handled the hero killer. The way you don't hesitate. They see potential in you. Not as a hero but as a weapon." Reiji's smirk faded slightly. He knew what Aizawa was implying. The Hero Commission didn't just support heroes, they controlled them. They had already turned Hawks into a spy. Now, they might want to turn Reiji into something else. "So what?" Reiji finally asked. "You think I'll say yes?" Aizawa's eyes narrowed slightly. "I think you don't care enough to say no." Reiji chuckled. "You make me sound heartless." "You're not heartless," Aizawa said. "But you don't care about rules. And that makes you unpredictable." Reiji tilted his head. "And what do you think I should do, teach?" Aizawa sighed. "I'm not here to control you. I'm here to make sure you understand the consequences of the path you're walking." Then he turned away. "Just don't become someone you can't recognize, Kurobane." And with that he walked off. Reiji stood there for a moment, processing. Then slowly his smirk returned. Too late for that. The League of Villains' interest. Far from UA, deep within a dark hideout, the League of Villains gathered. Shigaraki sat in front of a screen, watching footage of the UA Sports Festival and Reiji's battle against Stain. His fingers tapped against the table, slowly, methodically. "He's strong," Shigaraki muttered. Dabi, leaning against the wall, chuckled. "You interested in him?" Shigaraki's red eyes flickered with thought. "He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't fight like a hero." Toga grinned, tilting her head. "Oh, I like him. Maybe he'll play with us." Shigaraki's fingers scratched against his neck. "He's too close to UA for now." "But..." He leaned forward, eyes burning with interest. "If he ever realizes that he doesn't belong there, we'll be waiting." Dabi smirked. "And if he doesn't?" Shigaraki's grin widened. "Then we'll just have to break him." Class 1A's training session. The next day, UA resumed combat training. The students were split into pairs, with each team sparring against another. Reiji ended up paired against Todoroki. Figures. As they stepped onto the training field, the tension between them was almost palpable. Neither of them spoke. Neither of them needed to. Begin. Todoroki attacked first, launching a massive wave of Reiji vanished in a burst of hellfire, teleporting behind him in an instant. But Todoroki was ready. Before Reiji could strike, fire erupted from Todoroki's left side, forcing him to dodge. "You're finally using your flames, huh?" Reiji grinned. "You getting serious, Ice Prince?" Todoroki didn't respond. He just attacked again. Flames and ice crashed against golden hellfire, the battlefield erupting into a storm of elemental destruction. They moved like two opposing forces, neither giving an inch. Reiji broke through. He teleported mid-air, appearing directly in front of Todoroki. Too close for a ranged attack. He swung his flaming fist aiming straight for Todoroki's gut. But Todoroki caught his wrist. Reiji's eyes flickered with mild surprise. A massive burst of ice erupted from Todoroki's other hand, freezing Reiji's torso instantly. For the first time in a long time, Reiji couldn't move. And that's when Todoroki finally spoke. "You think this is all a game," he said, his voice steady. "But being a hero isn't about strength. It's about who you choose to be." Reiji smirked despite the ice. "You sound like Midoriya." Todoroki's grip tightened. "I don't care if you fight like a villain. I don't care if you enjoy it. But if you ever cross the line..." His eyes were serious. "I'll stop you." Reiji's smirk widened. So he's finally made up his mind. Then his hellfire surged. Boom. The ice shattered instantly, and Reiji flipped backward, landing smoothly on his feet. He rolled his shoulders. "Not bad, Ice Prince." Todoroki simply stared at him. The fight had ended, but the battle between who they were and who they would become, that had just begun. The aftermath. As the students left the training hall, Momo walked up to Todoroki. "You're worried about him, aren't you?" she asked quietly. Todoroki didn't answer immediately. Then, finally, he exhaled. "I don't think he's a villain," he admitted. "But I don't think he's a hero either." Momo's expression darkened. Because deep down she felt the same way. Far away from UA, in a secret meeting room, the Hero Commission gathered. A file was placed on the table. Reiji Kurobane. One of the officers looked at the report, then turned to the others. "He has potential," they said. "He doesn't hesitate, and he's willing to do what most heroes won't." The director of the commission leaned forward, eyes cold. "Then let's make sure we keep an eye on him." Because whether he liked it or not, Reiji was becoming something far more dangerous than just another hero. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 0 comment. Chapter 28. Chapter 28. The Hero Commission's Offer. Reiji walked through the quiet hallways of UA, his golden eyes flickering with amusement as he listened to the whispers around him. Even now, after returning from the stain incident, the attention on him hadn't faded. If anything, it had grown stronger. But it wasn't just admiration anymore. It was fear. His classmates saw him differently now. Not just as a powerful fighter, but as someone who didn't hesitate, someone whose methods were dangerously close to those of a villain. Reiji? He didn't care. Let them whisper. Let them doubt. Because in the end he would still win. Private summons. After class, as he was heading out, his phone buzzed. A known number. He raised an eyebrow before answering. Yeah. A calm, professional voice spoke on the other end. Reiji Kurobane. You are requested for a private meeting. The location has been sent to your device. Reiji glanced at his screen. A location? Near UA? His smirk widened slightly. He had a pretty good guess about who was calling him in. This should be interesting. Without hesitation, he made his way to the meeting spot. The Hero Commission's proposal. The meeting took place in a dimly lit office, the walls lined with official documents and case files. Seated behind a polished wooden desk was a high-ranking officer of the Hero Public Safety Commission. An older man, dressed in a formal suit, with sharp calculating eyes. Reiji didn't bother with pleasantries. He dropped into the chair across from him, lounging lazily. "You must be the one who's been keeping an eye on me," Reiji said. "Didn't think I was worth a meeting." The officer didn't react to his casual tone. "You were reckless during the stain encounter," the man said, voice calm yet unreadable. Reiji smirked. "Yeah, I still won." "Yes," the officer nodded. "And you showed something rare. A level of decisiveness and ruthlessness that most heroes lack." Reiji didn't respond immediately. Instead, he studied the man carefully. There was something cold in his tone. Something that told Reiji this wasn't a lecture. This was an evaluation. The officer leaned forward, placing his hands on the desk. "We believe your potential is different from your peers." Reiji tilted his head. "Different how?" The man's sharp gaze locked onto him. "You don't hesitate. You don't let emotions cloud your judgment. And you don't hold back when fighting real threats." Then he smiled slightly. "A rare quality among heroes." Reiji chuckled. "You say that like it's a compliment." The man didn't deny it. Instead, he handed Reiji a sealed folder. Inside was a contract. "This is an offer from the Hero Public Safety Commission," the officer said. "A special internship. One that would allow you to operate outside the traditional hero framework." Reiji raised an eyebrow. "That sounds like a fancy way of saying you want me as a weapon." The man smiled. "A hero willing to do what others won't. A hero who can eliminate threats before they escalate." Reiji leaned back, flipping through the documents. This wasn't just a normal internship. This was training for off-the-record operations. If he agreed, he wouldn't just be a hero in training. He would be a controlled force, answering directly to the Commission, not UA, not the pro-heroes. The Commission's personal tool. Reiji exhaled slowly, considering. They were right about one thing he didn't hesitate. He didn't mind getting his hands dirty. And honestly, this would be fun. But then, his mind flashed back to Isawa's warning. They see potential in you. Not as a hero but as a weapon. Reiji's smirk returned. He closed the folder and set it back on the desk. "Not interested." The officer's smile faded slightly. "Are you sure? This is a rare opportunity." Reiji stood up. "I'll get stronger on my own terms," he said. "Not yours." The officer studied him carefully, as if evaluating his choice. Then he sighed. "A shame. You would have been useful." Reiji chuckled as he turned to leave. "Yeah, I get that a lot." As he walked out, the man's voice followed him. "The offer won't always be on the table." Reiji waved a hand lazily. "I won't need it." Back at UA. Later that night, Reiji sat alone on the rooftop of the dorms, staring at the city lights. He thought about the offer. The idea of it wasn't bad. He didn't care about morals or rules. He didn't mind fighting dirty. But he would never let anyone control him. "If I become stronger, it'll be because of me." His golden eyes flickered in the moonlight. A system notification popped up. "System update, new skill unlocked." Skill, Phantom Step. Description, your movements become harder to track. Foes struggle to follow your speed. Reiji smirked. Perfect. Because if the Commission wanted him to be their weapon, they would have to catch him first. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com Sai07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 0 comment. Chapter 29. Chapter 29. The UA final exams begin. The atmosphere in Class 1A was different. Ever since the internships ended, the tension had been slowly building, especially around Reiji. His classmates weren't avoiding him, but they weren't as friendly either. Some, like Deku and Ida, still weren't sure what to make of him. Some, like Todoroki, were openly watching him closely. And some, like Bakugo, didn't care, he just wanted to fight him. Reiji? He couldn't be bothered. If they can't keep up, that's on them. But today wasn't about the past. Because today, the final exams were starting. The final exams announcement. Isawa stepped into the classroom, his usual tired expression in place. "All right," he began, scrolling through his tablet. "The time has come for your final exams." The room fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. This wasn't just a regular test. It would determine whether they could move on to the next phase of training. "The exams will consist of 2 parts," Isawa continued. "A written test and a practical combat exam." Reiji sighed. The written test was going to be boring. But the practical exam? Now that was worth looking forward to. Isawa glanced at the class, his eyes lingering on Reiji for a brief moment before continuing. "For the combat portion, you will be paired up and required to fight against a pro hero." Murmurs spread through the classroom. "Wait, what?" Kaminari blinked. "You mean, like, actually fight real heroes?" "That's correct," Isawa confirmed. "Your ability to work under pressure, strategize, and function as a team will be tested." Reiji grinned. Finally, something fun. The combat pairings. The projector screen lit up, displaying the official matchups. Deku and Bakugo versus All Might Momo and Todoroki versus Aizawa and Ojiro versus Power Loader Jiru and Koda versus Present Mike Reiji and versus? Reiji raised an eyebrow. His name was listed, but his partner and opponent weren't. Aizawa sighed. "Kurabane, your matchup has been arranged separately due to OI-specific concerns." The class glanced at Reiji, some looking surprised, others looking uneasy. "Specific concerns?" Reiji smirked. "Guess they didn't want me fighting with the rest of them." Aizawa continued. "You'll be fighting alone in a one-on-one match. Your opponent will be Hawks." The room fell silent. "Wait, what?" Kaminari blurted out. "Reiji has to fight Hawks alone? Isn't Hawks the number 3 pro hero?" Kirishima added, looking shocked. Even Bakugo, who never cared about fairness, looked mildly intrigued. Reiji, on the other hand, his smirk grew wider. "Now that's interesting. Hawks, the fastest pro hero. A hero who was always 5 steps ahead of his opponents." Reiji could already feel his blood rushing. A one-on-one fight with a top hero? This was going to be fun. The first combat exams begin. The following day, the practical exams officially started. Reiji watched as his classmates took their turns, each one facing off against their designated pro heroes. Deku and Bakugo's fight against All Might was particularly explosive. Momo and Todoroki's battle against Aizawa was a brutal test of teamwork. One by one, the battles played out, each student showcasing what they had learned. It was Reiji's turn. Reiji versus Hawks, the one-on-one test. The training field was massive, designed to mimic a small urban district. Reiji stood in the center, stretching his arms casually. The wind shifted slightly and then Hawks landed in front of him. The number 3 pro hero smiled lazily, his red wings fluttering slightly behind him. "So, you're the interesting one," Hawks said, tilting his head. "Gotta say, kid, you've been making quite the name for yourself." Reiji didn't waste any time. "Keeping tabs on me, Birdman?" Hawks chuckled. "Something like that." Then he spread his wings slightly. "All right, here's the deal," Hawks continued. "You don't need to defeat me to pass. You just need to prove you can hold your own against a high-speed opponent." Reiji rolled his shoulders. "And if I want to win?" Hawk's golden eyes flickered with amusement. "Then you're in for a hell of a fight." He vanished. The battle begins. Reiji's golden eyes sharpened. Hawks moved too fast for normal sight. Even before Reiji could react, feathers shot toward him at high speed, aiming for his arms and legs to immobilize him instantly. But, Reiji's hellfire erupted, incinerating the incoming feathers before they could touch him. Then in the next instant, he teleported. Hawk's eyes flickered in surprise as Reiji reappeared above him, fist blazing. But Hawks was faster. Before Reiji's attack could connect, a burst of feathers propelled Hawks backward, dodging the attack with ridiculous ease. Reiji landed smoothly, cracking his neck. Not bad, Birdman. Hawks didn't respond. His golden wings flickered, and his expression remained unreadable. Let's see if you can keep up. Pushing the limits. The battle continued, both of them moving at blinding speeds. Hawks would attack his feathers moving like bullets. Reiji would counter his hellfire, incinerating every projectile. They were evenly matched in pure reaction time. But then, Hawks changed tactics. Instead of attacking with his feathers, he used them to manipulate his movement, increasing his speed even further. Before Reiji could react, Hawks was already behind him. Then a swift strike to the back of the neck. Reiji's vision blurred. Before he could counter, boom, he was slammed into the ground. The final move. Lying in the debris, Reiji gritted his teeth. Hawks hovered above, arms crossed. "You've got power, kid," he said. "But if you can't hit me, you can't win." Reiji exhaled slowly. Then he smirked. "Let's see if you can keep up now." His hellfire changed. His golden flames began warping, moving differently than before. Hawk's eyes narrowed. What's he doing? Reiji vanished. But this time Hawks couldn't track him. Phantom Step. A new ability, fresh from his system. And in the next instant, he reappeared right in front of Hawks. His fist, coated in blazing white-hot hellfire, crashed into Hawks' chest. Boom. The number 3 hero was sent flying. And for the first time Hawks looked surprised. End of chapter. Fire. Hey Legends. Quick updates. Fire. Collision can't wait for the next chapter? Good news, all advanced chapters are available on Patreon for just $5. No more waiting, just pure binge-reading goodness. Rocket. Backhand index pointing right. Patreon.com/07. Sparkles Power Stone Challenge. Sparkles. If we hit 100 Power Stones, I'll drop 2 bonus chapters. Let's see if you guys can make me suffer. Face with tears of joy. Speech balloon enjoying the story? Leave a review and let me know your favorite moments so far. It helps the novel grow and reach more readers. Thanks for all your support, you guys are awesome. Red heart. Comment. 0 comment. Chapter 30. Chapter 30. A battle of speed and fire. The shockwave from Reiji's punch sent Hawks flying backward, his wings flaring out at the last second to slow his momentum. He twisted midair, landing lightly on the edge of a building, one hand clutching his chest where the hellfire-coated punch had struck him. For the first time in the fight, Hawks looked genuinely surprised. Reiji, standing in the center of the urban battlefield, cracked his knuckles. His golden flames flickered around him, but now they moved differently. Sharper, smoother, more controlled. Phantom Step is working perfectly. Hawks exhaled slowly, shaking off the mild pain in his chest. Okay, gotta admit, that one actually hurt. Reiji smirked. Figured I'd wake you up a little. Hawks tilted his head, golden eyes observing him closely. So, that wasn't just teleportation, was it? You altered your movement pattern so I couldn't read it. Reiji rolled his shoulders. Something like that. You're fast, but now. He disappeared again, Phantom Step activating instantly. Boom. He reappeared behind Hawks in a burst of golden flames. You're not the only fast one. His fist shot forward, aiming straight for Hawks' ribs. But this time, Hawks was ready. Speed versus instinct. Before Reiji's punch could land, Hawks moved. Instead of dodging, he countered directly, a burst of feathers forming a defensive shield in front of his body. Reiji's flaming fist clashed against the feather barrier, heat surging against Hawks' quirk. Boom. The explosion of force sent both fighters skidding back. Reiji landed smoothly, his smirk widening. Thought I had you there. Hawks let out a breath, shaking his arms. That was a close one. Guess I should take this seriously, huh? Then his entire posture shifted. His usual relaxed demeanor faded. Now his eyes were sharp, focused, deadly. And the moment he flared his wings, Reiji knew. He's done messing around. The sky belongs to Hawks. Hawks vanished from sight. Not phantom step pure speed. Reiji's eyes darted around, his battle instincts flaring as he tried to track him. Then he felt it. A rush of wind above. He's airborne. Reiji twisted upward, just in time to see Hawks descending at blinding speed, dozens of razor-sharp feathers surrounding him like a storm. Try dodging this. Hawks called out. Swoosh. The storm of red feathers shot down like homing missiles, each one sharp enough to pierce through solid steel. Reiji didn't hesitate. Boom. A massive barrier of hellfire erupted around him, the sheer heat incinerating the incoming feathers before they could reach him. But Hawks wasn't done. He used the distraction of his attack to close the gap appearing right in front of Reiji with a high-speed spinning kick. Gotcha! Reiji's eyes widened as the kick slammed into his side. Boom. The force sent him flying through a building, pushing beyond limits. The impact left a crater in the wall, dust and debris settling as Reiji pushed himself up. His breath was heavy. Hawks landed nearby, arms crossed. You keep up better than I expected. But you still leave yourself open. Reiji grinned, wiping blood from his lip. I'll give you that one. But then his golden eyes burned brighter. You won't get another. Boom. Reiji's flames erupted higher than before, his hellfire shifting in intensity. Hawk's expression shifted slightly. He's getting stronger? Mid-fight? Then, the system notification flashed in Reiji's mind. System update, new skill unlocked. Skill, Infernal Burst. Description, momentarily overcharges hellfire, granting a massive boost to speed and power for a few seconds. Reiji smirked. Perfect. His flames compressed around his body, becoming denser, more concentrated. Then he moved. And this time, even Hawks couldn't react fast enough. Boom. Reiji crashed into him at full speed, his hellfire-coated fist slamming into Hawks' gut. Crack. The sheer impact shook the training field, sending Hawks soaring backward at blinding speed. For the first time, Hawks lost control. And the pro hero crashed into the ground below. The final moments. Reiji exhaled slowly, his flames flickering as he landed on the ground. Hawks, lying in a small crater, groaned before sitting up. He let out a small laugh. Well, amen. Reiji rolled his shoulders. Had enough, Birdman? Hawks studied him for a moment. Then he smirked. You passed. Raised an eyebrow. Huh. Hawks stretched his arms, standing up. That was the goal, remember? You didn't have to win, you just had to prove you could keep up. Reiji clicked his tongue. So what, we're stopping here? Hawks chuckled. As fun as this is, I think if we keep going, we'll end up destroying the training field. Reiji sighed. Fair. Then Hawk's expression became serious again. You're strong, kid. No doubt about that. Then he narrowed his eyes. But your mindset? That's another story. Reiji stayed silent. Hawks sighed, scratching the back of his head. Look, I get it. You don't hesitate, you enjoy the fight. But that kind of thinking. His eyes darkened slightly. That's how heroes get lost. Reiji smirked, not replying. Hawks studied him for a moment longer then, his casual smile returned. Well, whatever. That's Isawa's problem, not mine. Then he turned away. See you around, Kurabane. And just like that he was gone. Reiji stood there for a moment. The fight was over. But he could feel it. Hawk's words, they would stick with him. Heroes get lost, huh? He chuckled to himself, walking away from the battlefield. Too late for that. End of chapter.